Happy Friday Night Flicks, guys. What is up? How is everybody doing? And I'm sure somebody will tell me if they can't hear me good, but I was going to go through and give some quick hellos and then bring our brethrens up with us. Brand new American, welcome. New channel member, good to see you, buddy. We've got, let's see, Mayor Salt's in here, Demonok, brand new American, 2 channel members right there. Mayor Salt, channel member, Z-Man, channel member, Bluminati Ninja, channel member, Crispy Critter, channel member, Dark Gravity's in here, and he's up here with me. Let's see who else we got as I scroll. All right. I think I gave everybody love. Welcome, guys. Welcome to Friday Night Flicks. Can you hear me? Evening, Robert Douglas. Blade Ogre channel member, how are you, brother? I'm going to bring Dick Winkle up here. Or Dick Wrinkle. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
How are you?
Me being able to hear you is worse now than it was before we went live.
Hey, I'll just read my lips. I have nothing intelligent to say. I don't know if these guys can hear me either. All right, guys. Can y'all hear me? Brand new American, can you hear me? Thumbs up or thumbs down? I can adjust it on my end. The cat might have fucked with it. Tippy could have got me.
I'm trying to say hi to folks.
Oh, my thing wasn't scrolling. See, that's what happens. Bama Ninja, what is up, brother? Robert Douglas, I think I said howdy. If not, howdy again. Jacob, howdy. Carco, channel member, howdy. Gone awry, howdy. Who is that stranger? I know what I can do. I can start putting people's comments up there. So can you hear me? I think y'all can. And you can't hear me at all, Dark Gravity, because that sucks.
I can barely hear you. It's really quiet. And if
Joe Isabella.
I don't know. Normally you're really clear. And tonight you're just really, really quiet. And I got my volume up.
I can crank up my gain. And I'm still not clipping, and I'm a lot louder. Did you hear that go up?
Not really.
Not really?
I mean, if they can hear you, that's all that matters. I mean, I guess I don't need to be able to hear you.
Well, nobody's giving me a thumbs down and telling me they can't hear me yet, so pretty soon somebody will say I'm too loud or the music's too loud. Z-Man can hear us fine. And I hear you fine. Happy Friday, guys. I'm so glad, again, the week is over and we get to hang out for a few hours. We might have some guests stop in. We may be the only guests. But I'm glad to be here and really glad y'all are here. I'll try not to devolve and go down my rabbit hole too far, but James Reese, welcome, brother. All right, I can turn down too.
I just listened to you on my computer and it's fine.
No worries, dude. As long as you can hear me, I don't want you to strain if we're having a conversation.
I mean, you sound really good. I mean, like I said, I clicked on my laptop and you sound really good on it.
Robert Douglas, that's Dark Gravity or Dick Winkles. I guess when I take the comment away, as I'm learning, it brings the names back up there. There we go. Mike Reese, welcome, brother. Glad you guys are here. I know I brought my vape over here. But yeah, guys, I've got new knives to show off that I'm going to be running through the channel, and hopefully it's not taking a turn for the weird. What's up, Pretty Fly for a Knife Guy? Welcome, buddy. Good to see you. But, I went down the rabbit hole with fixed blades, which I'm still kind of going down, and that's painful, but it's enjoyable. I'm enjoying everything that I do, So, Leland Phil, what is up, buddy? Welcome, man. Good to see you. And so this last, how long has it been, Dark Gravity? I don't even think it's been 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks. I got my slip joint. Pocket Metal talked me into it. I was on a Metal Mondays, and I invited him to stop by, but today is Chimiette's birthday, so in honor of Chimiette, I should have put my little prairie dogs up as my in the corner of my screen, but today's her birthday, so happy birthday, Chimiette.
Happy birthday to me.
So I started out reluctantly at his suggestion, and it was a good suggestion. I picked up an Ohio River Jack from Austin over at Traditional Pocket Knives. And of course, I had to pick up a slip when I picked up said knife. And then I think I told y'all the story of after I picked that knife up, I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't a hollow grind. And I found out QSP came out right afterwards with the Hedgehog that is a hollow grind. And QSP is the OEM of the Ohio River Jacks. So I picked this up. I had 2 slip joints, and I had 1 slip. So talking to my brother from another mother, Lefty EDC, he had a Lancelot leather slip that he had available. He didn't like the clip. Let me get it out of my pocket, because once I get it in there, it's good in there, but I love this slip. It does have great retention, and today, being Friday, I'm actually wearing jeans, so on khakis, it's not as hard to get in and out, but Lefty had this slip available. It's just real understated. It's got a clip, and it's got Joe Lancelot Leather's maker's mark there. I said, all right, dude. We agreed on it, and he sent it to me. Well, when he sent it to me, he had included a Troy Northwoods leather slip that he wasn't using anymore. So I had 2 slip joints and 3 slips. So I had to go out and find at least a 3rd slip joint that was different, which kind of led me down the Boker Tree brand traditional pin style. I can't get a Great Eastern Cutlery yet, but led me to get this knife for the slip. And since then, I was telling Lefty, I've now got 7 slip joints, and I've got number 8 on the way. Number 8 is the, I'll tell you guys, I'll give you a heads up, but it's the Q-Vist Vanish, the little small, and I don't have my variant PE here, but it's a little small slip joint. Have you seen that, Dark Gravity?
Seen what?
The little Q-Vist Vanish. It's the slip joint that's got that weird shape.
I'm not a big fan of Cubist knives and their designs.
Yeah. I picked up, I did pick that little one up because Lefty says that it's, again, I don't always listen to what Lefty said, but it wasn't that much, and he said it's his favorite knife so far this year. And I picked it up to bring it in.
I know,
what is up, Cheeto?
I know they're great quality. I just don't like the designs.
Yeah, and a lot of people, that look. The only reason I experienced that in the first place was Scotty Sobek Scooter sent me that knife. He didn't tell me it was coming. He just dropped it on me because he didn't like it. He'd gotten it. He thought it had a little lock stick, and he wasn't a fan of the way it looked. But I fell in love with it, and I've got the version 1 that doesn't have the top flipper. So the little Vanish, which I picked up from Brian at Blue Creek Knives. I always get my retailers mixed up. But picked it up from him, and he shipped it today. I ordered it today, and it shipped today. So hats off to Brian at Blue Creek Knives. And here we've got, what's going on, buddy? Can you hear me in the background? Are you ready to come up? Thumbs up whenever you're ready.
I don't understand why the fuck I can't.
What's up, guys?
And see, I hear Scotching things just fine, but I cannot hear John.
Can you hear me scotching things?
Yeah, I hear both of you.
Yeah, the audience has said they've been able to hear me.
Well,
Dr. Drew Dude, what's up? Byron Kennedy.
I went
Oh,
into my computer and I can hear John fine on the computer, but I can't hear him on the phone, but I can hear you fine, Steve.
it's God. It's God just saving you the brain damage of having to listen to the stupid shit that I'll say.
I don't know about that.
That's all of us.
Yeah, it's what would you call it? A virtue filter. Byron, Mike Reese, what is up? I'm trying not to miss anybody as you guys come in. And it's great to see everybody. We've got Scotch and Things here, and we've got Dick Wrinkle, aka Dark Gravity. Tactical Terry, what is up? I don't know if I saw you slip in. What's weird is I've got the YouTube scroll. I just turned it back on, so I've got it on the far right of the screen, and it's still trying to catch up. And then I've got the StreamYard chat where I see Joe Isabella talking to Meersalt, and Bama Ninja just jumped in talking to Cheetah Bandito. And those are the ones that I can actually highlight. And when I do that, it makes my other one disappear and before I was able to link it to the screen. There we go. Hold on. Try not to get where I lose you guys. I want it just like that. Boom. All right. That's exactly how I want it. See, it takes a little time, me talking to myself. Gracian, how are you, my man? Good to see you and welcome. And I'll just go ahead and I'll repeat the broken record story that you heard last week, except we've made progress. I've gotten several boxes in that now allows me to box up the boxes that I have with all y'all's giveaways in. They're still free knives. They're all great knives, and they will all go out. As I said last week, I don't want to come off as the liar guy. I've just been the sidetracked crazy. Like tonight it's raining. I've got Grateful Panic out in my car, and I have one side of it that's missing because I hit that divider. But anyway, that's a long story. But I will get all y'all's stuff shipped out, and I've got some special requests from Leland Field that will be fulfilled. And I just want everybody to know that I am going to have a giveaway tonight, and all these knives that are going into boxes that have not made it out will be shipped tomorrow. So that is the plan. I do have to take my dad from 8 to 12 on an appointment, but that is what I've got planned to do in the afternoon. So anyway, I apologize for being a slacker when it comes to that. But Steve, how's your week been, Scotch and Things? Did you get any work done?
Barely any. I think we worked a total of 6 hours this week.
I saw one post where you were saying there wasn't much y'all could do.
Yeah, this wind. Hopefully we'll be able to hit it hard next week. It's just windy, and we moved to a new project, and they didn't have concrete ready for us, so it was just kind of we're gonna sit on our thumbs a week. So
how far from home is
these drive about 20 minutes, so not too bad.
Oh,
yeah,
that's not terrible.
No, it's better than, say, we go on the road and stay in hotels, so I'm not footing the bill for guys to sit in hotels all day long. So
it makes it a lot more frustrating when stuff doesn't show up that's supposed to be there so that you can do what you're supposed to do when you get there. I remember one of your videos where you were kind of dealing with a little bit of that crap.
And it's always like that, and it gets annoying. It's something we just got to deal with. But the weather, it's like I'm fighting. Not only am I fighting weather, I'm fighting just the dealers getting their crap together this year. So
right, I'm sure supply's tough. That's what's killing me on getting my vehicle fixed. Is it requires a door, and getting that door is hence the tricky part. How about you, Dark Gravity? Did you pump it along? Are y'all going at full steam, or are things slowing down at the plant?
For us, nothing's changed. It's nonstop.
Good.
I mean, I can live at work if I want to.
That's a great economic indicator, man. If y'all are pumping it out, that's what you want.
Yeah. I mean, we supply the construction industry and the manufacturing industry, so yeah, we can't keep up. We're so far behind. Right now we're about 8 months behind.
Wow.
You know, as far as orders go. I mean, obviously the orders are scheduled, but otherwise people will be going other places. But I mean, we're booked through the end of the year because nobody wants to book beyond the year. So
right, the fiscal year is kind of what makes sense.
Right, yeah, because businesses, you know how it is at the end of the year, they want all their shit in so they can do inventory, and they want the least amount of shit possible to do inventory on. But we're booked through all the way till December 31st.
That's good to be, because you can still work the schedule that you need to work, and you've got that, I would say, and I could be wrong, but it gives you that sense of stability, right? That you know that you're needed and that you're there.
Yeah, it's well, see, the way I get paid is very weird. I don't have like a base hourly rate. We get paid off production. You know, how much steel we produce is how we get paid. And so the more steel we produce per hour, the more we get paid per hour.
And it's all going towards those orders being fulfilled, right? So there's got to be a place where they would go, you've got to be, they're expecting you in order to schedule to produce X amount of steel, right? Or a certain amount, you would think.
Yeah, it's when they sell it and they give a delivery date roughly, and that's based off of how much we can produce, how fast we can produce it, and what's in front of it. And so if you come and buy something and we tell you that, you know, it's going to be 3 months before we can make it, then we try, you know, we got to hit that, you know, within some kind of a time frame. You know, we have what they call delivery dates, which means it's supposed to show up at your facility, whether it's a construction company type place or a car manufacturer. If we tell them it's supposed to be there, you know, July 1st, it better be there July 1st.
So you're making it for the end user. You're making the raw material for someone else to take that steel and make it into what they want to then?
Yeah, we make the stuff that's used, like I said, structural. It's used for car hoods, fenders, all that kind of stuff.
But it goes out like a core, right?
Yeah, it's the big coils you see going down the highway.
So probably to the bin companies I work for and or build for, and
are you not hearing Steve now good either?
I can't hear nothing. I don't know what the deal is because I've never had this problem.
Well, just hang in there, dude. It'll come back. It could be the weather.
Well, I've been sitting here hitting buttons and shit trying to figure out why. And because my volume is up all the way, I've never had a problem hearing y'all. And
You're
why is it
clear as a bell? I mean, I can hear you absolutely clear.
But I mean, literally, I'm having to do it like that to be able to hear y'all.
And I do want you to come back in. Try to go just out and then back in, like I just did. You know how to do that?
No, but I can leave and log back in.
No, don't leave. Yeah, come back. Definitely come back in because
he doesn't have a head. Do you have a headphone in or?
I don't think
No. And that's the thing is, my headphones are fucking dead because I use them at work.
Oh.
Well, you've never had them before, and you've been fine.
Yeah, I've never used them before, and I've always been able to hear fine.
But it sounds like you're hearing a little bit now, just not loud enough.
That's because I'm right here. I'm literally like 8 inches from my phone.
But that's such a better view than Shane topless.
Yeah. Well, I'm willing to bet you that the folks out there watching probably feel different about my big ass fucking nose stuck in the camera.
They're loving your nose, dude. You jump out. What's up, Urban Woodsman?
But, yeah, I'll jump out and see what happens. And but real quick, I'm gonna go in here and see if my son's headphones are in his backpack.
All right, because I want to hear what's on your mind. I know we've talked before. You got stuff on your mind, and I want you to share it with the crew.
Well, it actually goes partly back to something Steve said a few weeks ago. but it's kind of a step onto that from some experience I've had lately. But hang on a second, I'm gonna try to see if resetting this shit will give me some volume.
All right, brother, we'll be here. And there's our sharpening friends, brother Kyle Coonley's service that I did not
sent
say
him
hello
some
to, Kyle.
knives.
Yeah, Kyle's a great dude, man.
I sent him a couple knives that needed some work.
He put the edge on this guy right here, which I sharpened the other one, my S90V. This is MagnaCut. I don't know if you can see that edge, if I can get it to show, because this has got that frosted blade. Can you see that there?
Yeah, I can see the shine on it.
He did. I mean, it's so slicey. I could. What's funny is I've got little paper scraps, because this is on the other side of where I am, is where I shoot my videos. I just bent the paper. But he made that thing just a laser beam. And it's a thick piece of metal, flat grind. And he put the most fantastic edge on it. Looks good. It cuts well. I haven't even had to strop it. I've got to learn how to do lighting better. You see that edge?
Yep, nice and shiny.
Yeah, you'll be very pleased with what Kyle Coonley can do to an edge. And since I've fallen down the
you've gone dark down the hole, deep down the slip joint hole, huh?
I've stopped. I've hit the bottom. I've bounced. I ordered number 8, my final one. Well, I say my final one. I'm leaving room for Ben Belkin and Jack Wolf knives, because I've entered a giveaway, which I hope all of y'all have entered. If not, we'll go to it and I'll show you how to enter it. It's just on Instagram, I think. But I'm not going to leave that out. And I do want to own one of his knives, but I know how I am, and I know how your brain is and how my brain is.
You can't
now that
have
I've
just
kind
one.
of gone down there, I can't just have one.
Yeah.
I'll buy the low
set.
drag, which is the one that I think I want, and then I'll want to collect all of them. And at $279, they're worth it. I'm not doubting that. I just can't exist and continue to pay bills and buy knives that I've got to buy and want to buy, and do that. But yeah, the slip joint thing, the last one that I've ordered is the Q-Vist Vanish, and Lefty said, I'm just telling you, it's the best knife that I bought this year.
Oh,
and
wow.
for him to say that, with it being so non-fidgety, he says it is. And I picked out the one that he suggested because it's got the black wash blade, and for some reason it's easier to get a hold of. I don't know any of the terminology, but I'm enjoying carrying my, like, this is the slip I'll carry most often. This one that Joe made, Lancelot Leather. But I've also got a really nice one that Troy made at Northwood Leatherworks that carries my Ohio River Jack. And then I picked up one when I bought my Ohio River Jack, which has a new knife. I got my first Rough Rider Reserve, which these guys aren't that expensive. But I've been amazed with how nice and how well this knife is put together. Check this blade out. Now again, it's just a big chunk of D2.
But you don't need anything super exotic for
No,
a slip
exactly
joint.
not. Exactly not. And this thing is so slicey. And then my number, I can't really call it my number one, but it's the one that I carry the most, is this one right here that has a really funny story to it. This is a Tucson. Dick Wrinkle's back. Let's bring him up. What's up, buddy?
I don't know if I fixed the audio, but I can actually hear you now.
Well, you look
then.
just as good. But this little guy's been a huge surprise. And it's very slicey. And they're not as expensive as the knives that I would normally buy. And I'm seeking out what the industry, and I know I'm at a totally different level, if I was reading the comments, people are telling me I'm not in the Great Eastern Cutlery world, but I'm experiencing both, and I've gotten them from the same makers, some that have really good half stops. Like this one has the best walk and talk, if that's what you're into, and I'm not. I just know that it's something that people pay attention to. But this has a perfect half stop. But it is screwed together. So unlike the Bokers, which are pinned together, or the Great Eastern, not the Great Eastern, the Great Eastern Cutlery too, but the Rough Rider Reserve are pinned together. But what's weird is this is different. Like my little club has a perfect half stop, and I checked with Pocket Metal, and this is normal. But my Trapper has a lazy half stop, which really is non-existent.
Why do you think that? Is it?
He says it has to do with just different patterns lend themselves to different, I guess, spring geometry, and it's not really the half stop in his mind, depending on what the knife's intended for. And I don't know if this is true. Dark Gravity, please jump in if you know something different, because I'll show you another knife that's more similar to this one. All of the other knives that I've picked up, which are only 7, right, have a distinct half stop, but I've watched reviews on others. Like this one it stays at half mark, but it's not locked in like it is open or closed. You don't hear that middle stop. Even though it has a 90 degree, it's not as clicky as it is on the open or the closed. This is a little concept, by the way, which it came in a box, which was so weird. The only other concept I've got, Dark Gravity, is my bulldozer that I got from you. But this came packaged the exact same way that this came packaged. And when you get inside that little slip, it's just kind of amazing. You know, this is M390 and that swamp green carbon fiber. But this is a $90 knife.
I don't know a lot about slip joints. That's Pocket Metal's expertise. I just like the way they look.
What I really like about this one is it's got this little changladero right there that keeps it from cutting into your hand if you get it too close. Because on Pocket Metal's live with one of the Bokers or with my Ohio River Jack, I went to half stop and I had my hand too close up there and it gave me a little kiss. This one won't let you do that because it's got that little heel, which I'm sure is taking away from blade length, or there's some negative. But to me, it gives you a natural place to put your finger on the blade. But anyway, that's just me being weird with my new obsession. But I think I've hit the bottom scotching things. I think they're not nearly as much fun as modern folders. I'll be honest with you, there's not a lot of modern things. I did see, and I was going to ask you about, both of you guys, that they dropped a bunch of Hinderer fatty worn clips.
Oh, man,
when
I
you
want one
read
of
about
those.
that, what is a fatty? How much fatter is it than an XM18?
I'm not sure. Is it the size? Is it the thickness of the XM24?
Well, it gives you specifications. I can tell you
Does
what
it?
the
I haven't looked.
specifications are. I just don't know how to read those. Let me go.
I think it has 1/4-inch blade stock.
And slab stock, right?
I don't know how thick the side slabs are, but I think the blade is the thickness of the XM24, which is right at 0.23 or 0.24 or some shit.
I've missed a couple. Hinderer dropped them on their site a couple Saturdays ago or something. Missed out on it there. And then USA Made Blade has been dropping them. They did a drop today.
And I've seen them show up in other places too.
Yeah.
Knife Joy had some.
Yeah,
So I think
and
if you
it's
look at the regular places like we have to do for Hinderers, or I'm thinking they might be
Hey,
available at Glacio.
hey, Scotch and things. Try something about sporting goods.
something about sporting goods.
I think
I'll
that's
have to
right.
look because and then I kicked myself. So last night, um, uh, in the Hinderer buy sell trade group online on Facebook, a guy posted one up. Plus, he had a tie um, fatty scale that he had installed on it. So I'm not sure what the retail. I haven't even seen what the retail is. I think the retail is probably the same. What
It's
it
425.
425 or 450 or
Hmm.
something like that.
They were
And so he
425, the ones that dropped with the G10 scales.
and he had a full tie one that he wanted like 725 or something for. So guys,
He
those
had
tie scales are
625 in it, yeah.
yeah. So he wanted a little bit extra, but man, it looked good, and
I
I
just
didn't
don't know what the
jump on it.
difference in a fatty warranty, because I want, again, it's a major want. It's not anything I'll grab, because I've pretty much got the Hinderers that I really love, but the fatty just drew my attention because I've never heard that before. So in your opinion, Dark Gravity, is it going to be thicker blade than the XM18 Spanto, for example?
Everything's thicker. The blade, the handle. It's like the Marauder versus a Midi Marauder.
It's amazing, which they don't change the price in the Marauder versus the Slim Midi, or the Slim Midi, the Slim Midi and the Midi Marauder. But it's amazing that it's still only 425. And I say only, I know it's all relative, but for an American-made beast of a knife, I mean, my XM18. Hold on a second. Is just such a tank of a knife.
And they're so good with a tie scale on them.
Oh yeah, and the thought of it being thicker than that is just very enticing. So
I,
the only reason
I,
I went down that rabbit hole is that's kind of what I would say. If there's anything that excites me, that would be it right now.
Yeah, that I was because I was just I mean literally just before I came on, I was looking through the Hinderer buy sell trade page, and they're popping up and they're selling immediately.
Dan
I
B,
mean, my
welcome, Aberdeen
Project
Blades.
X, I freaking love this knife.
I love that knife. I love the ergonomics. The thing that made it, I would have to send mine to Satu, and I know you guys are good buddies. After watching him, what he did with the studs,
Yeah,
I can't personally love it as much without the studs. I think he just made that knife.
the way it should have been.
I hate to
It
say
should have come
that.
with studs.
I
Yeah,
just think it's so many people use it, and he put the time and the effort into the exact geometry. I think he used great studs.
yep. And
Z-Man, let me
then
know if you find any that go from closed to open without a half stop. And the only thing I've consistently noticed, and I've heard that this is a thing, Bokers don't come sharp from the Boker Tree Company. And you don't want to just put your slip joints, according to my brother Kyle Coonley, I think it was him, you don't want to just put your slip joint in a fixed angle system and try to put an edge on it at, say, 20 degrees, which I think most of the slip joints are sharpened at. I've started on all my slip joints because a lot of them don't come sharp from the factory. But another thing that it's forcing me to do, and I've gotten very, very good, knock on wood, with my work sharp field sharpener. I'll walk over and grab it in a second, but I hand sharpen. I put edges on, like this knife right here came with no edge, and I put that edge on it with, and you might say, well, it looks like shit, John, but it cuts really well. And I did it all with my little 1-inch work sharp field sharpener. So it's made me want to, like Jared Neese says, get a couple of like a 600, maybe a 140, maybe a 400, maybe a 600 diamond plate that I could have a little bit bigger just for slip joints. And that could be a misnomer, but I don't think the stones would hit the clamp.
I learned
Like,
this week that not all watch guys are knife guys. Not
very,
all.
just
Which I knew, but I just posted. Oh, did you? I just made a video about it. In the Strider group, someone had posted up an Omega that he got for his birthday. And so I just posted up a picture of mine and said, hey, man, congrats. I'm a big fan. And I got a private message from a dude in the Strider group and said, hey, man, I've got an Omega appreciation or an Omega enthusiast page that I've started. And there's a bunch of knife guys in there and you can post pictures with your knife. So I did that, went in there and woke up the next day and it was a giant shit show of just really angry people that there was knives in a photo with a watch.
Really?
And,
it was one of those?
It was, and most of them were, I get it, a lot of them were from Europe where the knife laws are really strict and just a lot of people that don't understand and then put it all on it's a North American trait. And then, I mean, it's been going on for 2.5 days now with other guys then jumping on. So they'll post pictures with their knives and they're like, you don't understand what EDC is. And they one guy was just like, it's just childish. Like, why would you put a murder weapon in with a knife or something, or with a watch? And just
that
these
makes
guys
so much
just
sense.
go. So
the comments that I get about, I'm glad I don't bump into you on the streets in Europe or in the streets of Germany, because I'll post reels, shorts that I try to get, will always get more traction, but I get the most bizarre comments where if I'm just walking down my office hall, flicking a knife, people, and it makes me think I need to be more sensitive to what I'm posting. Not really, but it shows me that people do have different things that trigger them for the reasons that have nothing to do with them being a bad person. It's just what their society has got them thinking.
And what's funny is I would have said, oh, okay, different. But, being in the knife community, there's a lot of, they've got some strict laws over there, but there's some big time collectors over in Europe.
Sure. Like Patty.
Yeah. I mean, so it's just kind of this mindset that people have. And then it just went into the whole, what bugs me about it is I don't care what you think. I don't care what anything, but if you don't agree with something, it doesn't make me wrong. That's what the type of people that just bug the crap out of me, because you don't agree that this knife should be in a picture with a watch, then I'm wrong because you think it should be a watch only, or knives are wrong, or knives are,
and you're just thinking
scary
these are the
bad.
things that are with me daily. I need my watch to tell me where to be, and I carry a tool because it's my tool.
Yeah, and I talked, I think I made a post like, let's be honest here. You're not in this enthusiast page.
Is right.
You're not an enthusiast page. You're here to flex. You've got some nice stuff, and otherwise you can get by with an Apple Watch, or no one needs a watch anymore. Really, they've got their phone. I could get away with $150 knife.
This has kept me out of the rabbit hole that is watches. It's not that I don't appreciate them and what they look like. It's just that I know, and that's funny, Urban Woodsman. They are. My Amazon packages live in fear too.
They do.
What's funny is it's kind of and for me, it's like, what am I going to use to rip that one open, right?
Yeah. It's, and they're, it's just silly saying, and then the guy's telling people, because then everybody starts posting their watch with their knife, and they're like, you can't honestly say you carry that all day. Or someone
have you gotten any more private messages from the guy that said you could do it?
No, because he started the group. Actually, he made a post in the group kind of telling those people if they keep it up, just leave. Because he said I live in America. I understand your laws might not be the same as ours, but I created the group. This is my group. And if you're not okay with people posting pictures of these
Hey,
things,
G-Ball.
then leave, then leave, because this is what's typical in America. A lot of people carry a pocket knife. A lot
Mayor
of people
Salt's
carry,
so right.
yeah, a lot of people carry knives, pens, flashlights. It's just become this thing. And just because you don't think I should be able to carry a knife around, because
Well, people are going to always hate, right? I mean, the
yeah,
more
I never had
reach.
seen the hate on knives though. I've seen them. I see the hate that the Second Amendment or the 2A community gets, the pew pew community. I'd never seen it towards knives before. I've never seen just hatred towards,
But
a knife
it's
before.
interesting that the moderator or the creator of the page doesn't see a problem with it, and just talking in a purely digital marketing framework, which is where I live when I'm not doing knives, that engagement in that group, whether it's two sides that aren't having the same agreement, is the best thing that any type of page that's looking for organic exposure can get, because it
Just
shows that
the comments and the
there's activity going on there. There's discord, which is good. I think we need more of that as a society. I think we need to
there needs to
understand
be
each other better.
communication, and it can't just be one sided where it's like, I don't agree that you should have a knife, so you shouldn't have a knife. I don't care if you want to be a unicorn, you can be a unicorn. It doesn't affect me at all.
But I think they can all over there. Even slip joints are, because I get a
Real.
lot of views that looking at analytics show me they're from other countries. And I think slip joints are more. There might be a size limit, or is there? I don't know.
I don't know. But I know I mean, just from being in these groups, I know there's a lot of Europeans, especially in the Shiro group, the Strider group. I mean, these guys, and I've shipped knives overseas. So, it's just funny. It's just something different, something that they're not used to. So it's wrong.
This sounds stupid, but I'm terrible. What's up, Hinderer Collector? Brant, what is
What's up, Brant?
where's Lithuania? Is it in Europe, or is it a East European country?
Eastern Europe.
Because there's a fellow by the name of Paulius at Baltic Blades, who he and his wife make these little guys and sell them. I found this via Lefty, but Lefty found it on his Instagram page. I would not call it necessarily a scalpel, because it's made out of ABL tool steel. I think this is S35VN, but it can be resharpened. But it's a Amazon box, EDC. What 90% I think of us use knives for, cutting into stuff. This is a lightweight skeletonized version, and he's, not American, and I think it's a cool little implement. So I know that there are people over there that are very pro sharp tools.
Oh yeah, Brant, come on. Brant wants to come on. Tell Brant he can't come on unless he gets us the hookup and gets us a couple of the XM fatties from Hinderer.
Yeah, Brant, we need XM fatties, buddy. And I know you've got an inside track.
Oh no,
I'll
it's
send
funny.
you a link in just a second, buddy.
Have you seen the Herman knives?
I have. I've seen not in person, but I've seen MC's had them on his channel, right? That's where I've seen them, I think.
DLT's going to start carrying them.
I heard that and that is huge, because they come in. They're a beautiful knife, and are they made in not Poland, right?
I think it is, because you have to go to Polish knife. I've been on the site a couple times and then got kind of sketched out by ordering something using a credit card for an overseas.
That's why it's so great that DLT's bringing in people like that, and that's why it's so great that Knife Center brings in Andre DeVillis, and I've mispronounced his name, but it's so great that we have access. I was on Knife Center the other night, just happened to be looking through their new arrivals, and I was on like page 6, and there was a freaking Evo 3.0 for $675, titanium, just the way I wanted it. I didn't have the means to get it right then, but it was available.
Which Evo do you want? The regular tie, the dark tie?
I like the
Zerk collars.
I want just something basic. I'm not a flashy guy, so I'm looking for just one that's kind of the basic. When I did a review on one because my buddy A to Z EDC, who is a local guy, has a 3.0. It's a 3.0, right, Dark Gravity?
The 3.0 is the latest one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the last one. And he's got the thing that's different about his is it's got the barked dark handle, the satin blade, and then it's got a Zerk tie or Zerk backspacer.
That's the one I had. I want to get it again. I shouldn't have sold it.
Oh, it's a beautiful knife. Anyway,
if you want the lighter tie one, I've got a guy that's got one for $500.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah,
I don't need to know right now.
He's out of the country for the next week or so because I was looking because I mentioned I wanted one of those Eagle Rocks and he had one of those for sale too, and he hit me up and he's like, I'm gonna be out of the country for another couple weeks.
So, let me know when he gets back. No, let me know because that's about the timing actually. Because I've got to finish a pretty cool transaction that I've got going on with brother Dark Gravity, or as he'd like to be referred to as Dick Wrinkle.
Well, even if that one doesn't it's funny the 2.0 is still around $1,000.
That's the one that's and it's not being made anymore.
The 3.0s, they're still, they spiked when they first came out, but I was on I'm in all the stupid groups, the CKF group, and man, they're not. I mean, even brand new, untouched, they're not going for stupid money.
Well, what's interesting about that is when I was at Blade Show last year, I handled both of them, and it's something that I could see the attraction of. I still think it's the sexiest knife made, but I didn't feel like I needed to have one in my collection. I didn't feel like it was for me. I thought the 3.0 was too big. Fast forward almost a year, A to Z lets me borrow his for a week to carry it. I wasn't cutting hard stuff because I never do, right? For me, it's opening packages. It's how do I feel with it in my pocket, in khakis, in jeans, the way I exist in it. I was amazed with how it carried like a much smaller knife. I even checked because I'd seen all the bad things that other people had said about it. Yes, you can see and touch the blade, but there's no way, in my opinion, even going in my pocket, am I going to get my finger in between the scales. So the things that people point out as a negative, to me, the only thing, and again, I've got a different brain. It could have the weakest heat treat, but the way that thing flicks, it defies gravity in my mind. So when I go to flip it, the detent is so good and the look is so awesome. And in my hand, which is medium to large, it didn't seem like that much bigger of a knife. And I think it's only like a quarter inch bigger. I don't think it's a whole lot bigger.
Yeah, I was actually surprised at the size when a buddy let me, he sent me his first, and then immediately I went and bought one, and I had it for a couple weeks, and then I sold it because then it gets in my head like, oh, they made clones, and then they, it's made in China, and then it's, and they're charging this amount. The China actually costs this much, and now I miss it, so I think I'm gonna get another one. But
and Dark Gravity, what were you going to talk about that tailed off of something that Steve said a couple of weeks ago? I don't want you to lose train of that thought because I know it's been on your mind.
I won't lose the train of that thought. I've been selling stuff online, and a few weeks ago, whenever it was, Steve said something about when he goes to put a knife up for sale, people come in and want to trade him fucking Spyderco's for a Strider. Yeah. It's kind of the same principle. and it's more just sharing information with the community than anything. And I'll just give flat out what happened. I put my Malibu up for sale on NAF sale and on eBay. And people were sending me, and I put it up for $350 free shipping. People were sending me offers for $275, $280, $285. And it's like, the knife is brand new in the box. That's the retail price is $285 plus tax. And depending on where you get it, plus shipping.
Sure.
That knife is one of 50. Because when me and A to Z bought our knives at the Nashville Custom Knife Show,
I was there.
He said and I can never remember
Dave.
the guy's name, that Dave said there are less of these than there are knife show knives. We made 50 reverse tantos and 50 Warncliffs, and that's it. So it's one of 50 knives. Nobody else, they've made similar versions. They made a DLT version, but it's a different blade steel. And then they did the operator version with the tritium insert. But the black textured 20 CV with all black, there's only 50 in existence. So it's a knife you can't just go buy.
Right. And it's a fair price at $350.
Well, the thing is I'm not getting $350 for it. That's the part that I wanted to share with the people in the community, is when you go to buy a knife from an individual, not a retailer that sells on NAF sale or sells on eBay or something like that, they've got to pay fees. Plus, if they're offering free shipping, there's another $10. So like with eBay, I've got to pay 15% to eBay. So out of $350, I've got to pay them about $50. And then I've got to pay shipping.
Which is about $13 in my experience. It's gone up.
Well, it's
on average.
Shipping at first class is $9.80 or something like that.
I use UPS, so it might be the difference.
Well, it's going to Georgia, so I'm not too worried about shipping U.S. Postal Service from here to Georgia. I mean, it's one state over.
Right.
But now across country to California, yeah, I would go to UPS or FedEx or something of that nature. But the thing is I made $5 off that knife. When you break it all down, I made $5.
More than you paid for a one of 50 knife.
Yep. That could only be bought at the Nashville Custom Knife Show. So if you're in Nebraska like Steve, you can't get one unless you drive to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is people are repetitively selling stuff online of that nature, and people want to come, and it's more just a nuisance. And to a degree, it's insulting because another guy has one on there for actually $20 more than what mine was. And then there's people selling operator versions for $650. There's people, the DLT trading version, which is an M390 blade instead of a 20 CV blade, is $450. And I just want the handful of people that are listening to know that when you look at a knife and you look at the price, you've got to take into account the other things that are going into it.
Good, very, really good point.
Before you make an offer, and in the case of what Steve was talking about, I've seen that and had that happen too. You put a knife up for trade that's a $1,000 knife, and you got somebody that wants to give you a couple. If I have a Strider, there's a very good chance I have multiple Spydercos. Not just one Spyderco, multiple Spydercos. If I have a Hinderer, it's a very good chance I have multiple Benchmates, multiple Kershaws, multiple ZP.
Because you started there. That's where you started.
Because I started
you work your way up.
Right.
Yeah.
And so
it's that.
In my knife case, there's 40 $200 knives and 5 of the 400 to 500 and above knives. because I started at the low end and worked my way up, and then I got boxes with $40 and $50 and $30 knives in it.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know. I don't know why it bothers me. It probably really shouldn't. But it's something that's very prevalent in the community to try to, not everybody's selling a knife because they need the money. I don't buy knives and dig myself into a hole where I'm sitting there, oh shit, I got to pay the electric bill, so I need to sell some shit that I bought that I shouldn't have bought. I'm selling the knife. I put the knife out there available, and John knows me to know well enough that I didn't need to sell the knife. I didn't have to sell the
You
knife.
did it so somebody else could enjoy it, because you weren't
Correct.
feeling like it was getting the enjoyment that it deserved.
Exactly.
And my wife even asked me that. She was like, "You're not selling this because you feel like you need to, are you?" And I said, and I literally told her, I said, "Don't take need the wrong way. I feel like I need to sell it because I'm not giving the knife the love it deserves." And I know that sounds strange to you, but to me, it doesn't sound strange. To y'all, it doesn't sound strange.
No, it feels
It's
like
right on, Twang Thing.
I shouldn't feel weird about not carrying a knife. But then I look at it and be like, I haven't carried this since I got it. I could get $1,200 and turn that into other knives that I can enjoy. Or, so you've got a Jaeger, right, John?
Yeah, I love my Jaeger.
What's the Raptor look like? Do you have a Raptor?
I don't, but A to Z EDC, or A to Z EDC has a Raptor, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll have to look at someone just sent me, I bought this from the Medford Holiday Show. I love Medfords, but my number one rule is if you want a Medford, don't buy it new, because he cranks out so many knives. The retail market is, the secondary is just garbage. Do I think they're worth the money? Yeah, they're built like tanks. Do I love all those designs? No, but this was an $800 and some knife, and I'm having the trouble getting $450 out of it. So someone just sent me a trade offer for a Jaeger or a Raptor, and I haven't seen it yet. I don't know what the Raptor I can't remember what the Raptor looks like.
The Jaeger is about a $385 knife, and the Raptor is about the same. So really, both of them for that type of knife. And I know you're saying you're getting lower offers, but this is what would you say, Dark Gravity? And I'm just talking retail.
The Raptors are kind of like a lot of those knives of that ilk. It depends on which model as to what the value is. They go from like $375 to actually, I think, getting close to tickling $5, because you can get zirconium accents or zircotite accents. But the thing is, I've seen and handled the Raptor, and this is just my opinion as Steve, it's too small a knife for him.
Probably.
Because you're a 4-inch blade guy. I mean, your favorite knife is the SMF.
Yeah.
And its variants. And so you're a 4-inch blade guy. And I just think the Raptor is going to be too small for you, because I want to say it's like 3 1/4.
3 1/4.
3.3, something like that. So it's a relatively small knife. I did handle the St. Nick's exclusive Raptor. And it's a great knife. It's just small. That was my issue with some of the knives that I have. It's strange how the only small knife that I have that I carry regular is this Spartan Harsey.
And that's the small Harsey?
Yeah, it's the small 3.25. But other than this, I don't carry anything smaller than probably a PM2.
Yeah.
Hold on. What did you say? It's for a Mokutai BBK Raptor. So
well, that's probably going to be
pics I can show you.
Yeah. If it's a Mokutai Raptor, it's getting around the $500 mark, I would think.
But then you get into that resale value where, I know resale on a Medford is crappy, and I know I could just keep this and use it because I like it. I just don't carry it because there's others like it. I love the choil. I love everything about it. But for some like I hate his pocket clip. Some of his like the pocket clip on it bugs me.
Is it one of these thin ones that doesn't grab very good?
Yeah. Like on my Slim MIDI, and I use this all the time. It's got the same clip, but I had to take this off and bend it, and I don't know. Basically it's the same knife, just thicker, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got the Slim MIDI and the MIDI Marauder. You know, I just go back and forth. Like I love the knife, but it's like I could turn this into something else. The only Marauder I have, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Sorry, guys, I wouldn't let it go for on the cheap just so somebody else could enjoy it, and especially if they're trying to trade you a knife that you're probably not going to enjoy in your hand as much, knowing you, as a bigger knife.
Yeah, that's got a real skinny handle.
Yeah,
it's very petite in a bigger way.
Yeah, it's a small knife.
Yeah, that just
it's gorgeous. I mean, don't take me wrong.
Yeah, it looks good,
action,
but it's just awesome. Got a real skinny. Like I love the blade shape.
I wish A to Z EDC was in here because he could tell you about his. It is small in his hand, and y'all have about the same size hands. And that's true, Tactical Terry. Sometimes he'll take the trade offer just because he knows he can sell the other knife easier. But I don't know. Yes, Scotch and things. Byron says DLT still has their exclusive Brown Raptor for around $300 with the double poon clip point. Good to know, buddy. What's up, Ed?
Yeah. So, yeah, I got that. I sold that Shiro F95 the other day, last week, to a guy. I just made a video about it. We were talking about knife flippers last week, and I've traded and sold with this guy before in the past. And he hit me up. I'm like, dude, no, man. Like, this is like a $900 knife. And I had it priced at $750. I said, I've carried it and I've used it, so I'm discounting this thing, and I'm not gonna go that low. And he hits me back up, and it's like, come on, man. I got this much in PayPal. I just had a kid, and like a sucker, I'm like, dude, trying to be a nice guy. Whatever, do it. He gets the freaking knife and he immediately posts it for sale in the Shiro group for $900.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, no. And so
because you're empathetic and you're a good guy. And
I get it. Like, hey, I made the decision. I got suckered. I sold it to him for $650 for a Shiro, right? F95. Even though it was carried, it was still in awesome shape. It was technically his knife, right? Because he gave me money, I gave him a knife. It's his knife to do with what he pleases. But to immediately turn around and put it in the group, I wanted to blow him up in the group.
I would have blown him up.
I just try to stay away from it. So I hit him up on Messenger. I'm like, I just go, 900, really, man? And he just gives me this emoji. I was like, fuck you, man. Fuck you. And then he sold it.
I'm sure. But at the same time, I can understand you not wanting to be in the midst of that, but I would have had a hard time not calling him out.
Oh man, I should have said something in the group, but
he'll burn himself. Yeah, exactly.
I've had a number of people hit me up. I didn't say his name, didn't say his Instagram handle or his name on Facebook. I said, if you want to know it, hit me up on Instagram and I'll let you know. I had a guy said, hey, this sounds a lot like a guy I sold my first knife to. Dwayne. The first time I ever sold a knife online, he beat me up on the price. And he goes, it was for a rec exclusive Shaman. And I said, I've seen that knife. I've seen it in this guy's feed. So I just took a screenshot of that knife. I said, this is the guy? He goes, oh yeah, that's him. So he does it to other people. So he's going to burn himself.
That's why That's why
Yeah.
you should
What's
call
up,
him out
Manny?
in the group. You could take the hit.
Yeah.
Yes, it sucks, but you could take it. But what if when he does it to somebody else, now you got to live with that.
Yep. And I'll probably put a post up in the EDC Go No Go group, because there was another guy that was big in all the he would just kind of go from Facebook group to Facebook group to Facebook group, and just kind of buy up what he could until he kind of got his reputation, beating people up on price, and selling, and then moving on to the next group. And until he's gone now. He had given himself such a bad name where people just had enough. And then he got into like scamming. Like he'd win a knife in a raffle and immediately put up the raffle pictures in a sale post before he even got the knife that he won in a giveaway or a raffle. So I'm sure this is the route that guy's going to take.
And that's why, just even if you're kind of on the outskirts and you don't want to draw attention to it, it's almost, I would feel like you're doing the right thing by saying, hey guys, buyer beware or seller beware. This dude's going to flip your knife. You never want to, in my opinion, you never want to go outside of what you know to be the case, like what might happen, but just definitely share your experience, because that would bum me out, to see it, because you're doing it because the guy gave you a sob story and you wanted the knife to have a better life than you were giving it. You didn't want somebody to make money that you didn't really need to sell it. It's just kind of it's rude. And
people like I get the flipping part, like people getting dropped. I get it. It is. But then people like that, they just suck. I mean, you just suck. Making up stories, beating people up just to flip it, just to make a buck. I was like, man.
Well,
people in the community that took advantage of people for a long time, and unfortunately, if you've got a good heart, you're a target in a way, you kind of are.
Ed, right? So Ryan Clary, yes, he is the guy, not the guy I just sold to, but he is the previous guy I was talking about. And I'd done multiple deals with Ryan, and so did Buddy. And he was always like,
hey man,
can you do it this way? Can you send it next day? I'm going to take it on a camping trip. And then he would be flipping it. So yeah, Ryan Clary is the guy who burned himself bad. And
that's
basically this is the route that this next guy's going.
Well, that's why you should. And I think, love him.
And
Shane's the same way.
I'm also, when the guy was, telling me, the guy messaged me telling me that the knife retails, that Malibu retails for like, I don't forgot what he said. I think it was $275 is what he said it retails for. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not a fucking retail dealer. And that's what I messaged. I messaged him back. I said, I'm not a retail dealer. What the fuck and I guess, I don't have a problem with shutting somebody down, because on the flip side, I had this kid message me about a pair of raw denim jeans that I have for sale. And he's a kid. He works at Dick's Sporting Goods over in Huntsville. And I'm going tomorrow to sell him the jeans at a fucking huge discount, because he's a kid and he is interested in it. Not just for the fact of, but I don't know, I'd learn the difference between the people. And if it's somebody, if I know you're a grown man and you're begging me for a discount on a knife, you don't need the knife.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at it. If John comes and says, hey man, can you sell me this knife, but I only got $300 and it's a $500 knife, I'm gonna be like, John, you don't need that fucking knife. And you can ask John, I'll tell him that. If you're having to beg somebody, I mean, that's the way I look at it. Is too many people in the community go and buy stuff they ain't got no business having. In your case, this dude was a scammer, or I consider him a scammer.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because he played your heartstrings because you're a good person and he knew it, and got, your knife and then flipped it to me. That's a piece of shit scammer.
Yeah.
But you know, and that's something when I decided to start selling stuff, and I'm not talking about just knives, just stuff in general. And I'm doing it for entertainment. I'm not doing it because I need the money. I'm doing it out of boredom. But when I decided to start doing that, I decided I've got to be an asshole, which I was an asshole to start with.
It wasn't
Because
a
if I'm,
stretch.
yeah, it wasn't a big stretch. And the reason I say that is if you're gonna buy, sell, trade, you got to know the value of what you have, and you got to stick to it, or you're going to end up. I'm not here to support your collection. I'm here to support my collection. And if I'm taking a hit on every purchase that I make, then eventually it's going to cause problems with my wife. And happy wife, happy life.
Sure,
See,
and
I
it's
should have sold
also
Satisfaction for $50 in Best Buy gift cards.
exactly.
I mean, that's.
Oh,
I mean, I'm all about giving bro deals.
You are.
You know, but it's you give bro deals to bros. You don't give bro deals to some guy that across the country that you don't know.
yeah. And that's what got me. I had done deals with him before and everything went fine. And then you start doing the Facebook stalking in all the groups, and all of a sudden it's like, dude, fuck, man, you've had Shiros and sold them. You're just a flipper. You're just flipping. And I get it, man. He's making extras. That's his thing. And it's going to be the same thing that Ryan Clary, man, the guy, that's what he was doing. And it'll catch up to him, and then he'll be booted from all of them. And his side hustle won't be working anymore to support his kid.
But to get that much cash, he could have come to you and said, legitimately, you wouldn't have sold it to him probably, but I'll give
No.
you. Y'all could have maybe settled at 675 or something because you knew what his intent was, and he wasn't being just a total cheese ball. Because I think misrepresenting yourself is just unacceptable. What's up, Shane? Shane. It's Shane's birthday month, y'all, which we celebrated all month long.
I do the same thing for month. I only do a week. I do a birthday week.
I don't
just
even
let it
celebrate
come and go,
mine.
man. Me neither. I let it go. I feel like I've made a successful lap around the sun. Keep it under wraps and just go on.
Brant keeps wanting to come on. Brant, you can't. JuhVon and I don't have fatties in our hands yet. I mean, we don't have that XM in our hands yet. I don't know.
I think Dark Gravity would like the line to a fatty too. And what's the finish that you're hunting, Dark Gravity? I always forget that. Battle?
No, I want
Battle Black?
A Battlefield pickup Skinner blade.
Battlefield
and I don't
pickup.
think, yeah, a Battlefield pickup, but it has to be the Skinner blade. And the Skinner blade is the one, that 3-inch that I sold you, John.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shape, but I want the 3.5.
I got you.
I want the full size XM18 with a Skinner blade and Battlefield pickup.
And Brant, I'm going to walk across the room to get something that I said I'd get earlier, and I'll get my phone so I can text you a link. It's just going to be a bit. Bear with me, brother. But I tell you what I got in besides slip joints, because I was so impressed with the Miguron Moirel. I got this Pagos in, which is a thumb stud, less than $50 Miguron. I got it from White Mountain Knives. I think it was $47. Before I put in Lefty 10, I've got to start using somebody else's code. The only thing I'm not crazy about is the reverse flick. You don't have a lot of room to get your finger in there, but it's a front flipper. And Miguron, guys, for the price point, got a titanium clip.
Shut up, G-Ball. Sorry, John.
It's got T8s all the way around, even the clip. 14C.
Oh, I thought he said he was.
I just think they're great knives. And again, I'm going to put this up. I like the Moirel better so far, but I haven't given this one a fair chance. But Miguron's value stuff is really top notch. I've been very impressed. And T8s, there was somebody else that I reviewed that had T8s all the way around that I was impressed by. I forget who, but I love to see makers go to T8s because I hate T6s.
Yeah, Ed
Well,
just
it's
mentioned
got
it
a
again.
great hole. It's got
With
that
that
pear-shaped hole. Where did I put it?
with that Ryan Clary dude, man, he just because I had dealt with him for years, and then like I said, then my buddy was doing stuff with him, and then we were just sending each other links to all the stuff when he started getting called out. He was taking knives he won and trying to sell them. He was selling other. The dude just he got caught up in it, and it ate him alive. And they changed his name, and people were too smart for that, and that dude he crashed and burned hard.
What's weird though is he'll show back up, man, as different people. We had the same guy. He was. Why can't I think of his name? Help me out, Dark Gravity.
Monster
Tim.
Racing.
Monster
yeah,
I don't.
Racing.
What
It was
was his
Monster
deal?
Racing. I don't remember what his real name was.
Tim. Well, Tim was the name that I had that I sent stuff to him to give,
Here back.
'cause I felt bad for him. Take your time, dude. And then Edgy American found out that he came back as somebody. He was in the community for a while, but his greetings were similar. I didn't pick up on it because I'm a brain dead. But Demon Ox, sweet, got the shipping info on his J-Cow. But Shane, who'd he come back as? But anyway, people that have either taken advantage of or have a MO to do something, I think it's just their nature to try to come back somehow, and they will, because you can change screen names, you can get different emails. Just
Well,
beware.
I think what happens sometimes with some of them is they realize the community that they lost and they miss that community.
Sure.
Because they come in now. Some come in probably from the get-go with bad intentions, but some come in and they're just a part of the community like me or you, and it starts this domino effect. The next thing you know, they've dug themselves a hole, and a lot of times it's unintentional, and then sometimes it is, but it starts out unintentional, I would say, and then they lose their community.
It starts out unintentionally, and I think if anybody, because we've had people that have strayed from the community but done it with integrity and come back with humility, and they're welcome back. But when you have people that try to sneak their way back, and then in my experience, which has only been a little over 2 years, but when people come back sneakily under the radar, they fall back into their own old ways quicker. But I could understand how you would miss the community. But if you're going to screw a bunch of people, you've kind of lost your right. And I'm a forgiving person. So if you come back with humility, with apologies, and with remorse, then with time you can, maybe get in. You're right, Michael Morgan. I didn't know those other names. And then there's Edgy American. That's about the cost of somebody's. My son needs. We're hungry. Please help. I remember on one of Grateful Panic's live streams, he was so panicked trying to sell a knife to a guy that Grateful Panic's such a good guy, got caught up in the transaction for Monster Racing to make it happen. And again, he couldn't do it for whatever reason, and Tim just went off in the comments and then went back and deleted his comments because he and Grateful Panic had a conversation about it. But what a piece of crap. I've got no patience for those type of people. But I could understand him missing the community. But again, a community you've got to look out for and take your lumps if you screw them. Think how, Murphy's Law.
The thing is what you do is you just don't fuck with people to start with.
I've always thought that you hate everyone equally until they prove themselves worthy. But I have to go much more loving out into the world, or I'd be very cynical. But people like Monster Racing have made me much more. I didn't need what I contributed to him, but it could have been put to better use to people who need it, if that makes any sense. So even though I had it to lose, just like the fake website that I fell prey to, that I'm screwed on that one, but that was $98. I can afford to lose it because I didn't need it in the first place. But it shows that there are people out there institutionally, or well enough to get a website up that ranks on Google in the top 5, and basically steal from people, that you've got to beware. You can't, you can be kind, but you've got to be very, what is it, trust but verify. And it's hard to verify, even though with the internet it's not. It's just, I think people that have a good nature want to find the good in people. They don't want to be cynical. And that's exactly right, Pretty Fly. It's just, and that's why I'll always give away knives, and hopefully not always ship them so long. But I will never publicize it, because I'm not looking to get people to come for just free stuff, right? When I give a knife away in one of the community gatherings here, what I call community fellowship, I want it to go to somebody who's going to enjoy it. And Tim, on multiple occasions, not to talk about him, but he would get knives and flip them. And I know a manufacturer who happens to be my favorite USA manufacturer. If you watch my videos, you'll know who I'm talking about, who contributed 2 knives to Tim, because when they asked him about how he was liking his knife, he said that he had to sell it to feed his son. This manufacturer felt so much for him that they sent him another one that he in turn sold. So there are people
with
out there
him,
that'll
it
screw
was just a
you.
big scam just to get money from people.
Yeah, I think it was, again, nobody knows, and I know addiction's a powerful thing. It's not an excuse, but there was definitely something going on to where he was taking advantage of the community in a huge way. Had a GoFundMe. Yeah, just a lot of really shady stuff. But he was moderators for people from Neves to everybody that had a channel. He was Monster Racing. He was loved, He was kind of a slicey dicey type of character, except you never saw him. JuhVon, I've got it boxed up, my man. And guess what you get now? I don't have one with me, but you get extra stickers because I've got new stickers in. And I don't know if you guys have done this, and I don't know if I did it because I'm an idiot. I promise I'm not a narcissist. But I've got some, I use Canva, right? The little app that made my logo. And they have this whole section that is a brand section that'll take all the shit that you've done and turn it into things like business cards. And they give you a way to order them for like $19 through Canva. So I'll order some business cards so that if when I'm at Blade Show, I can hook people up with a card that has the channel name, my Instagram, my phone number, stuff like that.
I'm gonna figure out how to pause this. I gotta get a jacket. This damn rain's made it cold.
All right, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull you down into the. You don't even have to pause it. I got you.
I was gonna say I don't know.
I'm gonna put you down in the thing. Yeah, it's storming like hell here, and I know Dark Gravity's sitting outside. Oh, I know you are, G-Ball, and you might not have been here earlier when I did my weekly, I'm so sorry, but I'm not being a jerk, but I'm going to give something away tonight, even though it's going to put me one more night behind, but I've got enough boxes in because of my traditional rabbit hole that I can get everything boxed up. The hardest thing for me has been getting the box that the knife came in, because I want everybody to have that experience. But guys, you're going to get stickers instead, and you're going to get a great knife that hadn't been used. And the one that somebody won is going to Kyle to be sharpened. So that knife's got to go too. So, and all my knives have to go to Lancelot. So it's not just y'all that have been hosed by my schedule. It's me. It had to be a lot of doubles, Brand New American, because he got a lot of people. And again, I remember that's how Shane and I became good friends, because we were in a couple of chat groups together, and he actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, dude, I just want you to be aware that somebody's not who they appear." And nobody wants to bring negativity in, but Shane was letting me know, dude, just don't do anything else nice for him. And this is, I think, when, Shane was aware of what was going on, but I don't think he was 100%. Just thumbs up me, Dick Winkle, when you're ready to come back. But yeah, Shane was the one that let me know that something was going on, and then he came back and said to Grateful Panic, because Grateful Panic had called him out on it, tried to talk himself out of it, but basically there was no way to talk himself out of it. He's back. What's going on, Dark Gravity? You got your jacket?
I had to go get my $6 jacket that I bought.
Oh man, it's popping off lightning here.
It's
I
not
hope my
here.
window got wrapped.
It just cooled off as the front moved through.
I've loved the weather we've had around Alabama. I mean, the last couple of days have been just awesome. I haven't been able to enjoy them, but I'm driven up and down the highway. So I'll tell you what I was carrying today, and then what we'll do is we'll do a pocket check. We hadn't done that yet. So I was carrying still my number one knife, my Liang Ma Field Duty EDC. I had it in my right pocket. And in my left pocket, in my Lancelot leather EDC Roundtable slip, I had my Tucson, God, I want to say it's the TS 197, my little slip joint. I don't carry to work a slip joint, a fixed blade, and a knife, or a regular knife. That would be overkill. But I carried these two guys. What'd you carry today, Scotch and Things?
I had my new. Oh, I just froze. There we go. XL.
That's a wicked grind.
And
your Project X.
The Project X.
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm just a sucker for those grind. Just brings out the kid in me.
Dude, that's beautiful. What'd you carry, Dark Gravity?
I got the little Spartan Harsey and a little zip slip.
The zip slip by Kaiser?
Yeah.
I like that little knife. I can't find it in titanium, but it's available. I've seen it because I look at those slips joint sides of the websites that I never looked at. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. I mean, you can go down, and I'm trying to stay out of it. So what did everybody carry? I'm going to go up here, and it looks like Mersalt carried his McNeese PM3, Modest Works Raptor, and Malkoff MDC flashlight. And all Alabama carry. Sweet. Acid Test Kids loves that wicked grind, I'm assuming. No, I'm not holding out. I'm just a freaking busy slacker. Let's see. Okay. Grastian, and I always pronounce his name wrong, and I appreciate it more than he knows. Pulsar, the Surge Utility Slip. I would love to find one of those. And I was telling a good friend of mine, Abner Taylor, who's been in the chat before, because he was talking about carrying just a utility knife in his pocket. That's all he needed. I said, dude, you need the Surge Utility Slip. And Beyond EDC, Ray Integral. Nice, nice, nice carry. And then, let's see, go down. We got Z-Man, who was carrying his Pulsar, and the Beehive. I need to find out what a Beehive is. This is how I get behind, guys. I want to find out what is... that's that little Best Tech. Got it. That's that little Best Tech that Doom did a review and cut banana trees and stuff with. And then G-Ball was carrying the Null Knives Raiden. I saw that on his video, and the Oser F22, which also looks awesome, the Urban EDC exclusive. And he loves that knife, guys. I don't know if y'all are familiar with it. And then Acid
Oh, yeah.
Test carried Frag Friday, the Grant Gripper, and the
That-
Mannix 2. Two fantastic knives. I have both of those and love them. And my Grant
With the
Gripper
weight on it from the leaves makes it easier to judge which limbs to cut off.
has blacked out pivot collars. And Jason might join us to show us. Have y'all seen his Instagram lately? His fixed blade gripper? Sickening, sickening, sickening. Brother Forrest, what is up? He carried the Rockwall today, the QVIS PE2, and a Forrest Hank. I was wondering if that was the PE2 or if that was the Vanish when I saw your post, Forrest, because your post was killer. But I couldn't tell the size of the Rockwall and the QVIS. I thought that might be the little Vanish, which I ordered today, my final slip joint in the rabbit hole that I descended into. Jeffrey Dawson carried the Zahn, the JWK low drag jack, which is my favorite, which is still in stock in black my cart at 2 retailers. And I'll look at it. I actually have it in the cart at 1, and it would be my 9th slip joint and most expensive, but would lead me down an entirely different rabbit hole. And a beat to hell griptilian. Sorry about going off on that tangent, guys, but I have resisted the low drag jack or any of Ben's knives, not because I don't think Ben does a beautiful job and those knives are awesome. I just know how my brain works, and one will not be enough. Demonok carried a Shaman and a Pyrite. You can't lose with that carry. The Shaman is probably one of my favorite Spydercos, and the Pyrite, even though I had a bad experience with the retailer I got it from, is a great knife. I'm looking forward to the Warney when they put it out with titanium handles, which will be, I'm sure, any day now. And then Brother Timmy Bama Ninja carried Fair and Forge Friday, the Archbishop Mini, and the Lackey. I've got a Mini, but I do not have a Lackey. I do have an Artisan Cutlery Sea Snake. Is it about the same size as a Sea Snake? I think it is. And then Brand New American had the Rat 1. 2 knives that are not in my collection that I need are a Rat 1 and a Rat 2. Damn it, Daddy, pay attention to me. You went to get milk weeks ago and now come back with no milk.
I saw that, and I've already commented back to him.
Bro, you're ahead of the game. I'm way behind. Luke Tex was carrying the Civivi Lumi? Is that how you pronounce that? Is that the little flipper? And the Devo Knives Growler. One of my favorite knives. I need to look into the Lumi. I'm going to pull it up real quick. I think I know what it is. Yes, that's the one I thought it was. Is that a liner lock or is it a double detent? Just curious. But the Growler A is a great knife. I don't know if y'all seen the V2 Growlers. I originally thought they were the premium Growlers, but they're not. They're the V2s. They're going to be under $100. And White Mountain Knives, Shield and sent, I forget how many Lefty was saying Thursday night, but sent several knives to them to make up for some that were bad. And they sent extra knives, so White Mountain Knives has a few in stock if y'all are looking. And then Robert Douglas had the Spidey Mannix in CPM S110V. Great, great knife. The Mannix is just a winner. And I've got S110V in a PM2, and it's never needed my attention. Go ahead, buddy.
I got a question for Shane. Where did he get a stretch 2 with carbon fiber scales?
G-Ball, I need to reach into my pocket, and I need to reach out to Forrest. Check this out.
Ooh, you got your own Hank.
Thanks to Forrest, I've got Hank's. He made me one with my face logo, and I think the graphic, it's it's just all gray. I look just like an old dude, which I am. But Forrest Hanks are fantastic. And he can put your logo on anything. And I think the cat looks really cool. I need to get my daughter to redo it. She's a graphic design person. Because for some reason, I can't upload my logo, either one of them. And I made them in Canva. I bought the subscription version of it. And I've talked to Pocket Metal about it because he's a designer. And he thinks the only deal is they probably have it's probably got some stamp behind it that says that it's not meant for resale or whatever. And I can't find it in their terms of agreement that you can't use it. So anyway, I love what Forrest does. Forrest, I would love to get one of the shirts, regardless of what it costs, like you guys had last year at Blade Show. I forget what they're called. And a beanie would be very cool too. Pretty fly for a knife guy. Carried a Spyderco Tanto PM2, the Mini Penguin, and a Remiette hand feel. SOG multi-tool. All right, what's a Remiette hand feel? I know what the...
Oh, guys, I got to bounce.
Dude, I'm glad you got to come visit. Welcome, Kyle Coonley. Channel member for a month.
I'll talk to you guys later. If Brant gets on, make sure he gets us those patties.
I'll definitely get people up here when I get my phone. Steve, tell the family I said, hey, great seeing you, buddy.
Yeah, have a good night, Steve. Later.
All right, what I'm looking for the Remiette, Remiette hand feel. I just got to know or it'll drive me crazy.
Yeah, I've been trying like hell to figure out how to use Google on my damn laptop while I'm on YouTube, but every time I do, it just closes YouTube.
It's tricky. I mean,
I'm the most tech incompetent.
It's a knife. Cool. It's a very cool knife. See, I would not have known if I had not looked it up. Pretty fly. I love it, buddy. Great carry. And then Mimo, Michael Morgan, had the VK1 and Brissa Necker. I love both of those. Welcome, Pocket Stuff. Good to see you, brother. The F5.5 acid wash with denim micarta and a Microtech UTX 70 and LMAX. Fantastic, fantastic. I've never had a Microtech. I don't do a lot of out the fronts, but that is the one I would want. A little UTX and LMAX would be the bomb. Wonder what kind of blade you got on that, brother. Crispy Critter's carrying a fever since Star Gravity's on. You've probably already seen that and responded. Ed's got his Z-Wear Shaman with blue micarta RGT scales. I love it. I love RGT scales. I've got several on my Spydercos. That's why I love Spyderco so much. A, their steel's great. B, their palettes for just so many different knives. I mean, you can mod the crap out of them. Let's see. Autumn Wind, welcome. The CF Mini Crooked winner. Carco, thank you. He just gifted 5 memberships, guys. And I will have Tactical Terry got one. Sharp Guy got one. Bama Ninja got one. Awesome, guys. Ed was gifted one. Sweet. Y'all can use the emojis, and I'll be putting out a members-only video this weekend. You can go back and look at my collection videos. Please enjoy the members' content. I try to give you guys what you want, and you're always open to tell me what you want. Not that I'll do it, but I'll do my best to amend. This carbon fiber Mini Crooked River, which I don't think I've seen it in carbon fiber. That is awesome. And an all black wash Axon Mini. Nice, nice, nice. Let's see. Black tie and satin gripper and stonewash Mannix with black G10. Very, very nice. Very nice. And I agree, G-Ball. The low drag just to me looks like a slicing machine. and the black micarta would be what I'd pick, and it's the one that just happens to still be available. I almost bought it, but I didn't. I was really proud that I haven't pulled the trigger on it. No offense, Ben. I love it. You know I do. I'm going to end up winning one because I signed up for the giveaway. Dang Ross, channel member, carried the Concept Cryo, the Sharp by Design Mini Evo Typhoon, beautiful knife, and the Campfire Leatherworks Hank. And Carco, channel member, who was kind enough to gift 5 memberships. I love seeing those emojis come up to give Carco love. Carried the Synapse. Kinnison K9 I won, which I've got to look that one up. What's so funny is I try to look this stuff up, and my brain is so squirrely. Oh, wow. Dude. Congratulations, Carco. Let me show you guys. This might not be what Carco won, but check out this custom knife that I was not aware existed. This on their homepage. Have you ever heard of this knife company, Keenson Knives?
It sounds familiar, and that middle one of those knives looks really familiar. I think it's pronounced Keenison.
Keenison? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's go to their work. Hold on. Well, that is freaking beautiful. Look at the hollow grind on that. I'm not following them on Instagram. I need to go get my phone.
There's a lot of people you probably shouldn't follow, John.
Well, I just like to know what's out there. Look, this is a gorgeous little knife right here. It does look like other knives, but look at that carbon fiber and that pivot. And what would you call that treatment on the blade, Dark Gravity? Some kind of copper Damascus?
I mean, I'm looking at the big screen, not the little screen. I mean, it does look like it's some kind of a copper Damascus, but I don't.
Or maybe acid etch or some kind of etching on it.
Yeah, you could do a copper wash. I've never seen copper wash on Damasteel, and maybe that's what he did, and then polished it.
I've never seen a knife look like that.
Well, if you etched you see how that one is, the black area is recessed because it burns, the acid burns it quicker. And so you could do a copper wash on it after you etch it, and the copper would be recessed into those grooves. And then when you polish it like you did on the other blade, the copper, as long as you didn't get down in the grooves, would stay in there. And so he could have done a copper wash. I think it's Gavco does a tutorial video on YouTube of how to copper wash, and that would be. I'm just guessing.
You're right. That's some kind of process. It's chemical. That's not the steel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the etching is the steel, but it causes a recess, and then it's a chemical process that gets the copper to stay on there. Like I said, I've watched it. I think it's Gavco. I've watched his videos on how to do copper wash.
I'm going to have to go back and watch this.
It shows that, and I could see him doing that, and it's staying in there.
So,
and that may be, it may be that's where I've heard of Keenison knives is
from Bob DeMarco.
Yeah, on Bob DeMarco. I can't remember.
Which one did?
It could be he just makes badass knives.
The K9, and I googled K9, and it brought me to right there. Hold on one second.
If Carco won a Keenison knife, I mean, that's pretty fucking victorious right there.
That's it right there. Oh, god dang, dude. It's a beautiful knife. Look at it.
Yeah. Oh, man. Wow. Yeah, if you won that, you hit the fucking lottery.
Congratulations, buddy. That's the best carry. Are we back on Slim Jet? Somebody text me when it's over. We're not talking about slip joints. Where are we? Am I that far behind?
No, Shane's probably just that off base.
Tactical Terry, Mannix 2, Fireside Micarta, Bradford Guardian 3.5 Sheep's Foot, GMF 1, and a Thai ORJ Warney. Help me out, Dark Gravity. GMF 1?
Oh, that's a Giant Mouse F1.
Giant Mouse F1. I love that. That little fixed blade that has the leather sheath.
But the titanium ORJ Warney, I don't know what that is.
Let's see what an ORJ Warney is.
My mind's going, nothing's ringing a bell there.
Well, again, I love learning what this difference. Oh, it's an Ohio Riverjack. Ohio Riverjack Warney. I've got an Ohio Riverjack. I think it's a sheep's foot. And that's one thing, because I was going to get, these are still available and for sale for $125 in the different micartas, or $145 in the full tie. But the Warney and the sheep's foot look pretty similar. The reason I bought the sheep's foot is the picture made me think it was a hollow grind, which then I was told the story by Pocket Metal about Austin was told that they couldn't be done in a hollow grind. And ironically, this came out not too long after by QSP, and it is a hollow grind. But I'm tempted to get more Ohio Riverjacks because it's a very well made. Of all the knives that I've gotten in my slip joint to make Shane not want to be here, quest, this is probably one of the best built. And it was very sharp. But the Tucson came from the factory with a very impressive edge. Very impressive edge. But that's what that was. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry to have a squirrel brain. Edgy American carried a ZDP 189 stretch 2. And like you said, with carbon fiber scales, I bet he modded that, Dark Gravity. I know Shane's turned into a modding machine.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go look at mine because I was thinking that the stretch was pinned together. And so I'm just wondering how that would work.
I don't think he drilled it out, but Shane's got the skills. Thanks, Luke 10. I thought it was a little liner lock. Looks like a very cool knife.
And so I'm going to have to look into that because I would like carbon fiber scales on my stretch. Actually, I want my card on my stretch.
I got Endura carbon fiber from a German guy named Huscardi. Nice work. So I guess people are doing mods.
I need to look into, like I said, I'd love to have some tan.
There's Edgy's answer.
Yeah, I saw his answer. He got it from E&G, so I'm going to have to check in with Ian and find out about this modified stretch because I'd like to have some tan micarta or light green micarta scales for my stretch.
Is yours pinned?
It's inside. I don't know right off, but I was thinking it's the plastic handle or whatever you call it, Zytel handle.
Right.
And a lot of the Spydercos with Zytel handles are pinned. Not all of them.
Carried the Kaiser Baby, which is a cool little knife. The Mini Paragon, which not much mini about that. The Spyderco Mannix 2 Lightweight. The PM3. Kaiser Sheepdog XL. Devo Growler. Micarta Pinion. JWK Vampire Jack, another beautiful one. Top Dog, Bluminati Hank, Jake's Jank, JN Wood, Big Red EDC, and 4th ID coins. Nice, Bluminati. You are representing, brother. Budget Blade.
I'm surprised his pants stayed up.
He probably carried them at different times, right? Like, that's what I do. I mean, today I haven't changed carries. Ooh, I got something new in. Have you seen that?
Damn, what the hell is that?
Look at that Tanto.
Oh, that's your Kaiser. I mean, your Tucson.
Tucson, dude, $98.
Yeah, I watched the
14C.
video on it.
The unboxing. I love that Tonto, dude. And I'll tell you, this thing is sharp. I'm bending down to get a scrap. So this is where I do on the other side my videos. Let's check this out. For as thick of blade stock as this is, and the front is so thick but so slicey. I mean, the bevels are just done perfectly on this.
Oh, I love a hollow grind like that.
That's what
a weakness
attracted
of
me
mine.
to it. That's what attracted me to it. That look, and White Mountain, I love their site. I buy most of my knives there that aren't premium knives, that are pretty premium, but the pictures are always terrible, right? So it was a picture that probably looked like this to me. But I could tell it had a hollow grind. You just can't miss it. And I had no idea. I've got some Tucsons that are not as good as others, but I've never gotten a Tucson that was just disappointed that I felt like that was a waste of my money. Now, I do agree with you that I could probably sell all my Tucsons and I'll probably take a several $100 loss.
Well, the thing about Tucson is for, to me, is strictly for design, diversity, and joy.
Yeah, I think this is a Mazwan. Isn't that Mokhtari?
Yeah, I think that's his stamp.
But I mean, the sharpening tool's done very well.
I have a weakness for the compound grinds. That's one of the things I like the most. And I mean, with a Tucson, normally you got to spend $300 or $400 to get a grind like that. With Tucson, you can spend $100 and get it.
Right, or not, like this was right at 98, and I talk about that Evo, that the flipping action really took my attention, and this has got a really heavy blade.
Yeah.
But there's no chance of me failing this knife, and I'm not even flicking it that hard. I'm not putting any wrist into it. Oh. It doesn't have any other deployment method. At first, I thought that might be a front flipper when I saw it on their site, but it's just a flicker. And let's see if I can thumb flick it without cutting my hand off, because I hate thumb flicking, but you don't get any lock bar issue thumb flicking it. I have to give it a little wrist just because it's so unnatural for me. But that's a great knife, guys. And I don't know if they're still in stock, but one thing great about White Mountain knives, and something I've learned, is I like to go to websites and look for their new arrivals to see what's new, right? So we can see if there's something we haven't seen or something that we've seen that we want to know about. But if you go to White Mountain Knives and you like search Tucson and then click in stock and scroll, they don't have a back in stock section. And for some reason, their algorithm does not pick up when they restock Tucson knives as new arrivals. So what I do, another one of my exercises, even though I need to stop doing it because it's not doing me any favors except getting me nice knives, is I'll go and I'll pull Tucson on White Mountain Knives. I'll click that, and then I'll go up, and I'll show you in a second, and I'll click in stock, and we'll scroll through it. We'll do that in real time after I read a couple more carries. I think I've gotten everybody's. If I missed your carry, I am very, very sorry. And I didn't do it until, modified clip point. I love it. You're not great with the blade shape terminology, but you got it exactly right, bud. I just didn't know if it was the ones I like are like that, which it could be a Tanto or a drop point, but it's sharp on one side. My buddy A to Z EDC had a couple that were sharp on both sides, and I just know I'd cut myself more with that. Let's see here. I missed anybody. Budget blade review, had to go to work. Got these two big nuts, Opinion and Asher Pickett. Mini open bolt action. I wonder which pin that is. And a Bod Hank. Bearded Doom Hank. Yeah, those are available at EDC Roundtable. Lord Needham saying hello from the beach. Much love, brother. I'm looking for some of your sandy posts. Hopefully you don't post anything. You just enjoy time down there. Mike Jernak had his 20 CV bug out with black micarta scales and a number 9 Hank. Is that the Blade HQ bug out? Because I've got that one too modded, and I think it's 20 CV. Do you know, Dark Gravity?
What?
If the Blade HQ bug out is 20 CV.
I don't go on Blade HQ.
I rarely do, but I bought this one early on. Nope. Yeah, it's 20 CV.
I also don't pay attention to Blade HQ affiliate YouTubers.
I have no affiliate links.
I know, but I'm saying I don't. If they're doing a review of a Blade HQ exclusive, I will not watch the video. I don't care if the knife makes me want to jack off.
That is fair enough, and I like to look at things that I'm interested in, and I will watch some that are more shilly, but I don't know if I'll ever do it. But right now, I don't want to take anybody's knife, except if I'm reviewing something because you and I saw each other and there's something of yours that we want to talk about, or if it's A to Z, I don't mind bringing a few of his in, but I want to keep it to just stuff that I buy because I like it. Like this knife, I didn't ask for it to be sent to me. I had but package come in. I think y'all might have seen the unboxing. A few of y'all did. There were several knives from White Mountain, but I bought them all, and I think I used the Lefty 10 discount. I don't want codes. I don't want links. I just want to continue to show knives. But that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it or that one day I won't have it. And right now I have not. I've respectfully said I'm not interested when I've been reached out to because it gets weird. I could see how people could be tempted to say something they did in Forest. The Vampire Jack is awesome. You know, I'd have to look at them all to tell you if there was one I really didn't like, but I'm not a huge clip point guy. But then I picked up this little bevy because, again, the low drag jack I think is my favorite just because it looks so slicey. But I don't think there's any Jack Wolf that I would think is not appealing, and that scares me. If I bought one, I would be in the soup. Mike Reese carried a QSP Hawk, a Devo Stout, both in carbon fiber. Excuse me, guys, I just hiccuped. That was gross. I'm looking forward to my MASH V2, which should be here pretty soon. I know that half of them got here, but they're waiting for the other ones. They had to remake some liners. Love you, Budget Blade. I know you've gone because I saw I'm way behind. Let's see. Leland Phil, who's also waiting, is driving, but Thai Pyrite and Greenbone Rustlock. And a Greenbone Rustlock. Nice. I bet you got the real Thai one too that has the full scales. Let's see. Guys, I think they look very, very nice from the ones we just looked at. Tactical Terry, Ohio River Jack. He was telling me what it means. I'm so far behind, Pawpaw. All right, I'm going to go fast. The second set of Widespread Panic started. I love it. That's got to be, that might be my sweetheart, Susan. When Moon carried the Artisan Accelerator, the Nefarious Art Co-Pick, and Two Saints Tactical Lighter. Nice. Cuscati does. Did you see that? Dark Gravity, you might want to look at Cuscati on Instagram because it looks like he does a lot of the more traditional scales. He may be
I'll look into him and talking to Bill. Because if ProX can do it, I'd love to support him.
Absolutely.
Pretty Fly, I haven't purchased, and of course my wife purchased this for me years ago.
I'm gonna make you big for a sec.
On Blade HQ. It took 3 weeks to get to my house. 3 weeks to ship something. And I just ain't got that's no bueno. I mean, I understand it may take you 2 or 3 days to get something shipped. I'm okay with that, but to take like 2 weeks.
It's frustrating to watch it process for more than 2 days. I think is unacceptable.
Well, and it wasn't the mail. It was the fact it took them that long to get it in a box and shipped out. And she got it for me. She got it for me for my birthday, and that's in September. It wasn't like it was Christmas rush bullshit. It was just them busy doing whatever they did back then.
Or being slow, realizing that they were thinking of it as a retailer's world, not the customer's world. And when I saw, and I have no doubt, I've tried to wrap my head around it. The only reason they raised the price on that damn Black Mirror, which I still think, because they did bring the price back down, is probably one of the best values per dollar at $142. And titanium, I haven't put skiffs in it. Titanium M390. Or if you get carbon fiber insets that looks really nice, it's $148, so it's $6 more. The hardware is done immaculately. It's T8s, very minimal. You've got these barrel type hardware like you do on Hinderers. They raised the price, went out of stock. I think I've told the story, everybody's heard it. Went out of stock. The next morning I happened to look again and it was $189. I'd not bought one yet. So after Jared's review, it went up. I don't know what that percentage is, but it went from 142 to 184. So I went to Max Ace's site thinking that maybe it was just like an introductory price. Well, Max Ace still had it for 142, so I bought it and let it come from China. Then realized that Max Ace wasn't raising their price, neither was White Mountain Knives. And when Jared became an affiliate at Blade HQ, one of the things that he did that I'm grateful for anybody else that shops there, is he said, no bueno. You know, I'm not going to have my reviews or my excitement from a knife allow you to make more money. That's ridiculous that you would. And they were like, oh, it was a mistake or something, but they changed it back. I don't know if they said, yeah, you caught us, but in either way, I don't do business there unless I just absolutely have to. The last thing I bought there, and it was because it was on sale, was this little knife because E&G EDC kept telling me what a great knife it was. And I said, E&G, I don't need a tiny knife, and I don't do flippers only. This little knife is a joy. This little Vox Blade HQ exclusive Dapper Dapper. That is a great little knife. But the only place you can get it is Blade HQ. But it was $109. I still think it may be. We'll take a look at it in a second. But came really sharp. I keep it with my other Vox knives, mainly their Giant Mouse. And I think that should be a Giant Mouse knife. And if I'm not mistaken, it looks just like one. Blade HQ just bought their soul for this little knife. In my opinion, because if you look at it next to the little, I call it the Baby Grand, but I mean the construction is uncanny.
Well, a lot of the Vox Jesper team up, that's Giant Mouse and a few other stragglers here and there. I mean, their design is noticeable from across the room. You can tell when it's designed by those two guys together.
Interesting, Mimo.
And so, I mean, you can't hide the design philosophy. They can call it what they want, but you can still tell who designed it. Or I think you can.
Yeah, I think so too. They have very specific design language. D-Metal, it's a great knife, and if I'm not mistaken, they're still at White Mountain Knives. But did you see that carbon fiber stretch was a production model?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it. That's where we got to talking about. I've been talking more in the chat while you've been sitting there reading.
I'm glad. That's why I need you here, buddy, because you keep it real.
I don't necessarily keep it real. I'm just talking about getting in my car to handle put on my stretch. When I go inside, if it's got screws instead of pins, I'm gonna look into that because I think that would. It's got the K390 blade, and I've acid etched it, or not acid etched it. I left it soaking in mustard for a while to make it pretty, make the blade pretty.
The little force patina.
Yep. And so I think doing that and putting my Carta scales on it would look really good with that blade.
You know, whatever happened to Titty Patina? I wonder. Do y'all remember her who used to patina those copper, and she took the, I call them classy. They weren't nudity, but they were pictures of her heavies that she'd used to patina the knives.
I don't know. I never followed her that much. I'd hear y'all talk about her, but I never followed her that much.
I did. I followed her like a rat following the Pied Piper. She'd do videos when people send her stickers, and her husband or her boyfriend would shoot them from the top, and you just see her heavies kind of on the desk, and her laying out stickers, looking down. It was just great for a boy, for a 56-year-old boy. Chaz has an AR, a .75 AR JK Spartan Hircy, a Microtech Annex, and a Mini Evo in front of him right now. Guys, if you don't follow, Z-Man gifted a membership. Thank you, Z-Man. If you don't follow Chaz like Sharp Objects, and if you don't follow Z-Man, follow him. But guys, there's some really cool knives out there. I find them every day. Did you see that from Forrest Dark Gravity?
Yeah.
Send Forrest pictures of his knife, and he'll hook you up. He'll send it to Bill.
Yeah.
I saw that, and they had two blade styles, and I'm assuming that's the proper V2 because I've heard that the first proper had a very weak walk and talk, and then they fixed that or made it better, more desirable. But $109 for an American-made Slippy is tempting. That's what made me buy these Smoky Mountain exclusive Solage in Germany. Sorry about that ringing. If it is, it's ringing in my ear. These were on sale for $99, which is probably too much for what they are. But I wanted to try, a legit thin. And I haven't gone. That's one thing that all my slip joints are. They're single blades. For some reason, I don't like the thicker ones, and I don't think, and I know it's because the one I cut myself on of my dad's when I was 8 had the little blade is the one that closed on me, but it had a blade at the front that was longer and a little pinky blade at the other end. Tippy. Guys, if I go dark here in a second, blame it on the cat. Hold on 1 second. Let me close this case so she'll hopefully just lay down.
I prefer single-bladed traditionals myself.
Me too. That's what I like.
I mean, I have some that are multi-blade, but I just prefer the single blade.
Pocket Metals likes the ones with several blades, and for a very good reason, because it gives them, multiple knives to really use.
Yeah. Well, and that was the principle behind a lot of it. We done run Shane off. That was the
No, he
principle,
didn't.
but yeah, that's 3 slip joint strikes. I'm out. You're just way off on the chat. I mean, you're like an hour behind. But
I don't want to leave anybody out. There's Shane. There's a S45 Hinderer that I actually got with Jared, and he told me how to sharpen it at 20 degrees. And even though it's a Spanto, I thought I might need to do something different to sharpen that, and he assured me I didn't, and it worked out amazingly well. Check this out, Dark Gravity. Let me find a little paper sliver.
you gonna put your knife to use?
Yep. But this is the edge I put on it, and this is a Spanto. Was that a cat hair or cat tail that just went across me?
Yeah, there's a cat stretching behind you.
But it's very slicey for a Hinderer. And I did that all off camera.
I've had no problem whatsoever cutting shit with my knife.
Well, mine came for some reason not real sharp. Only my Jurassic that I got from Jeff, and it wasn't his fault, never been sharpened. My Spanto and my Eclipse, they just didn't seem as sharp. I'm sure they were sharp on wood, but they weren't, me. I'm a urban paper cutting guy. So I wanted to see what they were like to sharpen, and Jared was just the man. I mean, he absolutely I sent him a DM not expecting to hear back from him, and I figured it'd at least take him a day or two because I can't imagine how many he gets. It was like 10 minutes, dude. He was like, set it at, just everything. Call me if you have any questions.
Well, it's, I know with my Hinderer, when I used it to cut that shit off at work the other day, I posted the picture and took a little poke at Shane with, I sharpened it right back up on my little work sharp, pocket sharpener that I carry in my backpack to work, and it worked just fine.
That's what I'm using for all my slip joints, and I love it. It's teaching me to hand sharpen. I'm going to get, I think I said to you earlier, I think I'm going to get 150, 400, and 600 stone like Jared recommends. And Shane, you're not a shield dude. I think that you're very, very much different because you stick with one link. They're your partner. They help you bring knives into the channel. You talk about it openly. You shit on their knives if you don't like them. It doesn't change anything. I'm not against it at all. I just don't have the wherewithal to send knives back and to try to keep up with stuff like that. My brain just won't let me.
I've got diamond plates, but I don't ever use them, to be honest. I never use none of my big sharpeners.
Well, I was thinking if I got a stone holder.
Let's say I've got a stone holder for them.
To put my 4-inch, do you just like to hold them? Because I could hold my 4-inch fixed angle Veneves and just do my pocket knives like that. That's how I use my work sharp. My little field sharpener, I hold it when I'm sharpening my knives.
Well, see, and that's what I do. I've got some 3-inch by, I think they're 8-inch diamond plates. And I just never need them. I carry that work sharp, and when I cut shit like I did at work, I just use it and sharpen up my, touch it back up. I just never let it get dull. And as long as you never let your knife get completely dull, then it doesn't take but a few swipes. I probably fit after cutting through that shit at work, and nicking the blade. Now the nick's still there. That's going to take a few times of sharpening. I'm not going to waste my time and sharpen out that nick. But I touched it up, and it'll cut you right open, and it didn't take but a couple minutes, like 15, 20 strops on each side, and then I use the little leather strop that's on top of it to get the burr off, and it was good to go. I only sharpen until I feel a burr. and then I go the other side and just match the number of strokes, and then use the strop to deburr it.
And you're just doing it all by hand.
Yeah.
So you're rarely reprofiling.
No, I mean, I usually don't. I usually just go with whatever the factory edge is, because I'm not that particular. If it'll cut through whatever I need it to cut through, it's not that deep to me.
Right. Right.
You know, I'm not obsessed with, oh, it's got to have a 15, 30 degree combined, 15 degree per side, this, that, or the other. I mean, I'm not splitting fucking atoms.
No, I agree.
You know, that picture that I posted on Instagram, I don't even remember what the fuck that thing's called. I don't forgot. It's some kind of accordion something or some shit. I can't even think of his damn name. Something Wolf, that he knew what the hell it was called. We use them to cover the screws at work, to keep, shit from getting in there. And I cut it off, and I'm laughing at what Kyle posted. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that for me, I'm not trying to split the pubic hairs off of an atom. I just need to be able to cut something or stab somebody.
Exactly. And not have it break off.
Yep. And a screwdriver will stab somebody, so I don't need it sharp.
That's funny. 420 Heat Street, Nexville, Alabama. Changed my favorite neck in the community.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to all show up with Pelican cases full of slip joints and take them to Shane's house.
I really was surprised because I bought the one after talking to Pocket Metal and did not think an RCH. We used to call it an RCH, is the smallest unit of measurement, which was a red one. And I thought one slip joint just to kind of prove to Pocket Metal that I wouldn't like it. And it was a Ohio River Jack. And I got it in. And, I should have known because I like fidgets. I did. But there's something to me that's pleasing about that. It's tactile.
I mean, you're doing something.
But it's also a very functional tool. I don't worry about it closing on me. When I was a kid, I was terrified of these because I got a really bad experience. And it might not have been as locky as this one is.
Oh. I mean, the way I look at slip joints, that's closer than what I've got in front of me. Well, the way I look at slip joints like this is what basically built the pocket knife that was carried by the men who built America. I can't speak for the rest of the world. I can only speak for America and Canada. I'll talk about Canada too, because they're like our little brother. But I mean, you go back 75 years, 100 years to the people that built America. This is all they needed. Whether it was a farmer in Texas or somebody building a skyscraper in one of the cities up north, along the Great Lakes or whatever. I mean, this is what my grandfather carried. This is what your grandfather carried. This is what most of the people probably on here's grandfather carried. And they fucking use their shit, as Erica would say. Whether it was digging out a splinter or fucking cutting the balls off a pig, because that's the spay blade. That's what it's for.
Right.
They were used, and it worked. And to me, when you pick one of these up and start carrying it, it just kind of, I mean, you realize that that's all you need is just this little knife. You don't need, a big giant machete, pocket machete, to do what most people do, because all this does is invite you to break it. With the bigger, heavier blade, it just invites you to break it and to do something that you probably shouldn't and have it close on your hand.
But they are fun, aren't they?
Oh yeah, I like both.
But yeah, I'm very, it's interesting how me in 2 years have gone so many different directions. I started with one kind of knife, then I got into a little nicer knives, then I took the diversion trying to find the small fixed blade that led me what I thought was going to be my grail, which was the chickadees. And then I bumped into Jason and just in love with the J-Cows. These are two knives that are also needing to go out to Joe Lancelot Leather to get sheaths made. But then slip joints. So now when I go to DLT Trading Co., I'll look at new arrivals, then I'll look at their fixed blades, and now I'll look at slip joints. So I'm just screwed. Any way you look at it.
No, guys, I want to be like those guys. I want to be half the men those men were. That's my thing with it is I just wish I was half the man my dad was. Wish I was half the man my grandfather was.
Mark Herrera, be safe, buddy. I'm going to pull up that TS221 right now. Then we're going to go. There it is. Ooh. Did you say TS221? Check this knife out, guys. And then we'll be on our rabbit hole that I'll show you I go down. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. Black carbon fiber handle. M390 blade. $91. Almost a 4-inch blade. That's a big boy knife. But what I do when I'm looking for what's new in Tucson's, I want to find them here locally without going to eBay. And then I'll go in stock. And like this one here is the D2 version of the 129. But a lot of these knives will not show up on their new arrivals page, like this one here. Or there's another, if that's a Max Ace, I'm sorry, I'll show you all a Max Ace that I'm very interested in too. But White Mountain Knives has a ton of Tucson knives in stock. You just have to go in there and you have to pull the in-stock ones. Here's a neat little slip joint right here, Dark Gravity. Not my jam, but
that is a good looking knife.
Yeah, $47, man. Snakewood handle. But I mean, if you're looking, this is the best knife with a fatal flaw. I've got this knife and absolutely love it. It is so well done. It is got the best action. The pocket clip absolutely sucks. You cannot get it in your pocket. You cannot get it out of your pocket. No pocket clip that I've tried to take this off because it's milled into that carbon fiber. You can't swap it out. But what a gorgeous knife. It's one that would almost be worthy of a slip. But $144, M390 in titanium with a shitty clip.
I don't like solid titanium clips.
Me neither.
The machined ones.
This is a real popular Tucson here. I don't have this one, but this is a deep. Which one's this called? The TS204. I think it's pretty thick. S90V blade material. 129.
I like that handle too.
Yeah, and I think it's good and feels good in your hand. It's not real thin. And this is a fixed blade. It's not a tiny fixed blade, but it's a small fixed blade. I've almost bought this. It's 3.35 inches, 7.4 overall. 14C, 28N. Motso, what's his name? It doesn't have it on here. But really a lot of new cool Tucsons in stock. This one used to be really popular. I've always thought this one was too expensive, even though it's an integral. M390, Mazwan Mokhtar. Let's see if his, yeah, that's his maker's mark.
Yeah.
But very cool knives. And then you can fall down the rabbit hole and go up here and type in, I want to show you this Max Ace. It's got the thinnest blade stock. This guy right here. .079. Is that pretty thin?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of. That's thin as fuck. That's like traditional pocket knife thin.
Yeah, if you go, and this is a slip joint. Yeah, but if you go to Jared did a review on it because it's got like 5 little stops instead of just 3. But he shows the blade, and the blade is totally thin. But Max Ace does several slip joints. I think Doom's got this one. And that one's more normal. It's 3mm blade thickness. But Doom's got that bad boy. But this Beetle slip joint's the one that I'm really interested in. But again, I don't want another slip joint. Look at that carbon fiber M390. Look at that blade for under $150. .079. I just think that's sexy. It reminds me of a Jack Wolf for less money.
I'm surprised you ain't already got it.
Nope. I am trying to be, I'm either bringing stuff in that I would like, that I'll review and either keep or give away. I don't know if y'all have seen, whoops, the Pickle Hank's back in stock. Only 2 left in stock, guys. I've got one of those in the back. And have y'all seen the coins? Challenge coin that you can get with a Lancelot leather slip or without. Where they established last year. I think that's a pretty cool coin. Very cool stuff. And that clip slip's the one I showed y'all. that I bought from Lefty that he bought from Lancelot. Just because he didn't like the clip, the way it flares out. Oreo Dave. Yeah, Josh, I was wondering about that too, but when I saw Jared's review, I went right past that. Or I think it was Jared's when he showed the blade stock, how thin it was. But then again, sorry for banging my thing. I'm guessing that's real thin too. But I think it was like half that thin. Because Jared said it was much thinner than the Bexar. Hey, did I tell you about getting screwed on my Spartan knife that I won?
I didn't know you won a Spartan.
Mm-hmm. A fixed blade at the Nashville Knife Show again. I was posted, if you go to their page, I was posted as the winner of that Inya or whatever, but they sent it to somebody else because they couldn't read my address. So they're alleging me sending me some other something with tickets to next year's show.
No, I vaguely remember you saying that you won now, but I didn't know that you never received it.
Well, I was on their Instagram. Nobody screwed me, Maddie. I think it was just a mistake because ironically, I won last year too. I got a Spartan field grade Talos. I already had one, so I sent it to Sobek Scooter last year. And so this year I won, and they said they couldn't read my address.
Hell, I ain't won shit. That's fucked up.
And we walked in together, and I won two times in a row. That's bizarre.
And me and Jeff ain't won nothing.
I've got the SE3 and the little Candura, and those knives I think those will survive an apocalypse. The only thing, my SE3 is an S35V, and it doesn't seem nearly as rugged as my little Candura that's got that coating on it.
I got an SE6, and I used to have an SE5, but I sold the SE5 because I got the SE6.
Is the 6 just how big's that blade? 6 inches?
It's fucking huge. It's way too big. I keep saying I'm going to replace it with a SE3 or SE4. And maybe it's a skill level and maturity, but and not that there's not a place for bigger knives, but I think once you get above the SE5 and the Becker BK2, which is a very similar knife, I think it's just overkill.
So 15 inches is overkill?
Yeah, it's. I mean, most of that I would use a knife the size of an SE6 or the Hunglas, which is like a 9-inch blade version. I've also got the Becker. I think it's either BK7 or BK9. It's got a 7-inch blade. It's just, they're just way too big and heavy. Like I said, to me, the SE3, SE4 is kind of my ideal fixed blade size.
Zombie there, even though it's not full tang.
But then again, if there were zombies, I may want something bigger.
I wouldn't want to carry it, but man, this thing has got an edge on it. The Silver Stag. I was just trying to cut scrap paper, but my scrap paper's too thin.
If it was,
imagine carrying it, it would bang against your leg.
But now, if there was a zombie apocalypse, I would probably carry the Busey Battle Mistress.
Oh, that is a. Let me pull that up for people to see. I think I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, it's like 3/8 of an inch thick. I think it's like 15 inches overall. If nothing else, the momentum would be like hitting them with a baseball bat. I wouldn't have to cut them.
The Brucey, what'd you call it? The Battle Mistress?
it's BUSSE is the company, and
I'm on their company, Battle Mistress.
Yeah, the Battle Mistress. I don't even know if they still offer it.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I know, not because I don't follow them as closely as I used to. I thought they always come out with some crazy shit.
10-inch steel blade, 5/16 stock.
Yeah.
That look like it?
Yeah, that's it.
Man, they've got some nice ones.
Oh yeah, like that one you got highlighted right now. Well, you done scrolled away from it.
Which one?
That $250 one, that where your little clicker is right there.
That's a nice little blade.
Mm-hmm.
7-inch overall textured micarta.
They make really nice knives. I've never really learned a whole lot about that Infi steel as to how well it is. I think it's more of a outdoorsy military type steel, kind of like 1095 as far as that would go with the hardness and everything.
Right.
I don't think it's one of them super Gucci steels. It's going to be like 65 Rockwell or whatever. I think it has toughness as much as it has, edge holding.
Oh, dude, they've got their 2003 line.
But they're a little pricey too.
Are they USA made? I guess I could click about. Ooh, I like that Hellraiser. Look at that.
Yeah, they used to be all USA made. I'm assuming they still are.
Look at that blade.
Mm-hmm. There was somebody that used to be in the chats that was a Busey dealer. And I used to talk to him every now and then. I don't know.
Check this out.
It was actually a lady, and I don't know where she disappeared to.
Swamp Rat 3V steel.
Yep.
16-inch blade.
You can carry that in your back pocket.
That is a Bearded Doom motorcycle sword right there.
Yep.
And that little one was called a Meaner?
I don't know. The writing's too small.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. I can't see.
Well, I shouldn't be teasing you. I should go back to this. There we are. We won't do the shopping.
I know it doesn't bother me. I get that sword and then get the little smaller version, that little smaller 3 1/8 inch knife, and I'd be set for the zombie apocalypse. I think one of those swords would be fun as hell. It's just damn $800.
You know, the one I've wanted, and I don't want to support the guy, is that little Hobet Quaken that's like $435.
Yeah.
And then they've got the Quasheti, which is like $299 or something, but it's thinner blade.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw the review Lefty did on it.
Maddie, what time said faction? I always forget Arizona time. I think it starts at 12 my time. And I tell you what I'm going to do, Dark Gravity. I'm going to leave you here for 1 second, and I'm going to go grab a NAF.
Uh-oh.
I got to get one to give away here in a little while, because that'll prompt me to ship everything tomorrow. 1:15 East Coast time, so 12:15. Thank you, Ori. An hour and a half. Got you, brother. Hold on 1 second.
All right. I don't know if we're going to get too freaky, Maddie. I'm kind of boring that way. Oh. See, I hate when that fucker leaves me by myself. I don't know what the hell to talk about. Except I want that damn sword that he had posted up there a minute ago. And I can't put it back on the screen for all of us to look at. Everybody needs a sword. So we all gonna just sit here in silence, or y'all gonna fucking say something? In-N-Out Burger is overrated. Well, according to Clockwork Orange, the old In-N-Out is the fun pastime. Most of y'all probably aren't old enough to recognize that, but at least I know me and Ed are. Thoughts on Jack Wolf knives? They're really nice knives. Are they worth the money? That's up to you to decide. The quality's there. They're made out of good material. Yeah, Pitt, I was looking at, when you say that, I look at your picture. You're probably close to my age or right around my age. So yeah, you might get the Clockwork Orange. Weird ass movie. Really didn't make any sense at all. I don't see why that's actually considered a cult classic or whatever it's considered, because it's just too weird for me. Oh, makes total sense if I read the book. People still read? I used to read. Now I just watch the videos. Gladys. Oh, no, that makes sense. I could see that happening. I used to have a bunch of books. I sold some in a yard sale and gave the others to the prison that's close by. Actually, Terry, I think most of us in John's group are a little bit older than normal. Except Maddie. Maddie's only like 12. He's just a giant 12-year-old. I don't know if they actually learned how to avoid VD. Because the prison close to where I live is the one where they send all the HIV patients in the state. So, yeah, they probably missed the whole venereal disease avoidance thing.
So I was looking for a while, and I found a knife that I love that I wasn't going to give away, and I thought, why not? Have y'all ever seen this? This little kube?
But knitting is an invaluable skill, Kyle. You should learn to knit.
So it's a flipper only, but it thumb flicks great, even though I hate thumb flicking. The reverse finger flick is the bomb. It doesn't have another deployment method, but slicey. This blade has never cut anything but paper. Has a great choil that can either be a sharpening choil, or for me it's a great finger choil. And this will be our giveaway knife in a little while. And yes, you will eventually get it, and it will go out, God willing, weather permitting, tomorrow. Now, it might not be in a kube box, because that's what's been slowing me down, but it will have stickers. And it's a good knife. I highly recommend it. As a matter of fact, I think it's been in one of my top slicey knife videos. But what I'm going to do, it is a chunk cleaver, gone awry, and it will drop shut in a big way. And that choil, if you're not careful, If you lit it, it will hit your thumb. So if you keep your thumb up towards the top of it, but it's got great detent, but it is a chunky little guy. So what I'm going to do is find, while we talk amongst ourselves, the StreamYard giveaway tool so we can start collecting comments. I think it's this click that takes me to it. Man, it seems like there'd be an easier way to get to it, but at least they have a way to get to it. Here we go. And we're going to do hashtag. And guys, my understanding is it is cap sensitive, but I'm just going to show y'all what it is. We're not going to stop it anytime soon. Split joints suck. I love it, Marshall.
Why the hell you do that?
Man, I'm glad to have you back, dude. I feel like it's old times. I've missed you. And I couldn't think of anything else. Slip joint or slip joint suck. I knew I'd run Shane off, but he's probably gone anyway. So we're going to put that up as our, and then we're going to put our cat in the corner. Because he's hoping y'all win. Then we're going to stop sharing. And y'all just keep it up. Look at Mass Faction put up.
You're right, Oreo Dave. I didn't like it.
He does good, though. That's what he doesn't realize is all Dark Gravity has to do is be himself. People are going to watch because it's entertaining shit. And you know what you're talking about. You choose to talk about what you want to, but you know what your stuff is. I guess you could choose to talk about stuff you don't know what it is, but that's not you.
Yeah, I tried talking about A Clockwork Orange while you were gone.
That was a creepy movie. I remember it when I was a kid. I can remember that was one of those first, before I found out what Skinemax was, that I probably should go to therapy because it was kind of titillating to me and it was very violent. So something's wrong with me. Carco's got a Hindi and Magna Cut. Magna Cheese. I've got a Hinderer in Magna Cut and I am not at all disappointed with it. But I have not gone out and looking to keep my edge forever. Nor do I think necessarily Rick was when he designed it. Skinemax, absolutely, Pitt. I used to creep around the corner. Those were the old days, man. I can remember how cool it was to get a line that was a family line in my room, in my bedroom. It seemed like it opened up the room, the world. And when I learned that I could wait for the top 40 to come on and record on my jam box a song that I'd waited to hear and then play it over and over and over. And now to look at where we are, we've come a long way in a short time, dude. That's what you call rapid adoption.
See, when I grew up, we actually had porno stations because we had one of them big. We had one of them big giant ass satellite dishes. So I got burnt from the get go. It was straight up hardcore, Nina Hartley, fucking John Holmes from the get go.
See, I can remember my dad had the Playboy, so I can remember there's certain pictures that I can remember that are beautiful, more beautiful than any recent centerfold. But just because I saw them as a kid, right, prepubescent. But I also remember going out to our hunting cabin where we owned it with like 3 other families, and it was really just the dad's getaway place, right? A hunting cabin. It was really a fucking cabin, you know. The kids would go out there to break ice and set up decoys. And then we learned when we went in the bathroom, if you went to the bottom of the stack of magazines, there was a magazine called Cherry. So I don't know if y'all know about, because Dark Gravity, evidently you are much later in life, but this was printed very hardcore compared to what a young mind like mine had seen in Playboy. Cherry was a whole nother level. You got to see inside of the what was behind the hair in my days, right? But I can remember like me, and I won't name them, but 3 other little boys sitting around going, holy shit, you know? And I mean, none of us were at that age yet, but we were all still like, her ain't got no shoes on, and look at that.
Oh, well, see, that's the thing is, I grew up in the most vile time frame, I think, because the 80s, we had all the brain damage from both leaded gasoline and the drugs of the 60s, and that's what we were raised around. And so, I mean, well, it's the late 70s and early 80s. And I mean, like I said, I was 6 years old, and I don't remember why I was at home from school for like 3 or 4 or 5 days, but I sat there, and I'm not shitting you, at 6 years old, and smoked my parents' cigarettes and watched porn all day while they was at work.
That does not surprise me. That sounds like the Dark Gravity I know and love.
I mean,
did see, and you probably weren't even nice enough to leave them 2 cigarettes. You probably smoked all them motherfuckers. I came home and had to go buy another pack.
Well, what it was is I started smoking when I was like 6 years old, because in the cul-de-sac that we lived in, we had a lot of 14, 15, 16-year-olds, and every one of them smoked. And so, I mean, that was what I was around. My parents smoked. They smoked. I thought they were cool. I didn't think my parents were cool. But, you know, I used to ride motorcycles with them and, you know, hang out with them and ride go-karts with them and do other stupid shit with them. And, I mean, that's what happened when you lived in a cul-de-sac back then. You know, it didn't matter that I was 6 and, like Chris, the guy that did half the tattoos that I got, he was 15 at the time. That was irrelevant. We lived in the same cul-de-sac. So guess what? He was stuck hanging out with the little kid across the street. But Chris smoked. So guess what? I smoked too.
Monkey see, how old were you when you got your first tattoo?
I was 18 when I got my first tattoo, but that's because of the law. I wasn't going to ask, you know, Chris or anybody else to break the law.
Right.
Alabama's tattoo laws have changed since then. I think you can get them at 16 now, but back then it was 18. And so I just, you know, it was what it was. And I also wasn't going to get the shit beat out of me by my mama.
Mamas were always the morals coming back, right?
Yep. So I at least had to wait till I was a legal adult as far as the laws at the time.
Well, I had a unique situation growing up, and I'm a recovering alcoholic, but I don't blame it on my grandparents. But I was part of Operation Paperclip. So when I came to this country, I was born in this country, but when my mom came, she was 4. And I can remember by the time I was born, my grandparents had moved down to Cocoa Beach, Florida, because my granddad worked at Cape Canaveral. He was the director of launch vehicle operations for NASA. But all those Germans and those German rocket scientists loved beer. They were, you know, Oktoberfest. So I'd go down there every summer. I'd stay for 4 weeks or 5 weeks in Cocoa Beach, Florida. And I can remember when I was like 6 years old, my grandpa, Opa, would say, go out in the garage. He had a refrigerator out there. And I can remember it was like yesterday. If you open that refrigerator, there were probably no less than 100 different kinds of beer. It wasn't like 12 packs. it was just a shitload. And this is before craft beers. This is in the 70s, early 70s. And he'd go, and Pat's Blue Ribbon, I can remember that being one of them. But he'd say, go grab us a couple of beers. And he had this big chair that was Art Deco, that was a 2-person recliner that you could lean back in and we'd watch TV. And he said, go get us a couple of beers. And when you're in Germany, if you're old enough to ask for a beer, you can have a beer. So I took a couple sips, didn't really like it, right? So I do remember when I was 8, because that was a ritual. I'd always go get the beer and I'd have a couple of sips. And I can remember to where I'd get to where I'd drink about half the beer and I'd bump into walls and shit. This is when I was a kid. So, and I was probably born with a little fetal alcohol syndrome, but that's another story. But, so when I was like 10, I can remember really enjoying it. So I'd go to Cocoa Beach, Florida, and I'd look forward to going down there drinking. Now, when I'd come home, I didn't have anybody that drank, so I didn't drink with anybody. I wouldn't sneak beer from my parents because I didn't like to drink alone. But I remember turning 12, 13 years old, and I had buddies in the cul-de-sac. And one of their dads, they had a refrigerator downstairs that was always full of Miller. Just the regular Miller, the gold can. And that's where we built a fort in the woods behind my buddy Mike's house for the sole purpose of drinking. And we would go up there and we would drink. I'm talking 12, 13, 14 years old. And the funny thing was, behind his house, which is real close to where I live now, are these super steep quarries. And where we built our fort was at the top of the quarries. You'd climb up and then you'd be in the woods again. And then we built our little fort because nobody could find it. The only way you could get in was go through a little door in the bottom. You stick your head up in there. You get up in this little fort. You close the little hatch. And then we had one of those caution lights that you used to steal off the little wooden things in the street. And you stick a paper clip in it to make it flash. So that's all we'd have for light. We'd have a flashing light, and we'd be in there with our 4 beers each. Or we would, during the week, there are 3 of us, Caldwell, Gibbons, and me, we would each steal, we'd had a little plastic flask, and we would go take a little bit of liquor out of each bottle of our parents. And everybody do that. And then we'd meet at the fort, and we'd dump this mixture of brown liquor, white liquor, whatever we got in a jug, and we'd have Ritz crackers, and we'd eat Ritz crackers and drink this fucking suicide mix of just liquor, right? Not mix it with anything. And so we'd get tipsy, climb out of the bottom of the fort, and then have to climb down the quarries. It's amazing that none of us tumbled to our death and made national news hitting the ground with a 0.4 blood alcohol content, right? When you're like 12. But we just wander around the neighborhood, just shit-faced drunk as little kids. And I look back at that and I'm like, wow, I'm so glad we didn't have cell phone cameras and we weren't recording all that shit.
Well, we did the same thing when I was a kid. My dad didn't drink because he worked for the government and he was on call 24 hours a day. But a lot of the neighborhood kids' parents did drink. And I mean, we did the same thing. We would go get beer out of this guy's dad's refrigerator, that guy's dad's refrigerator, and we do the exact same thing.
Well, then we got the older brothers involved that were legal. And then we'd get brash when we learned to drive, where we'd go sit at certain gas stations and wait for people to go in and say, hey, man, will you buy me some beer? I'll get you a pack of cigarettes if you do. And people would buy us beer and bring it out to us. And then we found the stores in town that would sell to minors, and they'd leave it out back for you.
Mm-hmm. We had a place north of Athens, where I grew up. It's like 10 or 12 miles north. And on a bicycle, that ain't shit. And so we were like, 10, 11, 12 years old, riding bicycles up to the state line.
Could you get the 40s?
Well, no, this was a little bar that's a back off in the woods, and the dude would, he didn't give a shit who the fuck you were. He was going to sell it to you. And it's literally like the state line is on one side of the street and he's on the other side of the street, but he's way back off in the woods where you can't see it. And so most people don't even know he's there. And so we would just ride our bicycles up there and go buy beer.
We used to drive up there to get 40s because you couldn't get the big 40 ounces down in
Yeah.
Alabama.
Still can't, as far as I know.
And why would you want one? Because even when we used to drink them, it's because we were funneling, and I guess they were cheaper. The more cans that you have, the more expensive it was. But we went through a stage where everything we drank went into a fucking funnel that was like the tube was this long and about that big around, and then it had a big funnel at the top. You'd hold your thumb over it, you'd pour the beer in it, and then you'd go, and the 40 or the 12 or the 16, whatever, would go straight into your stomach. It always ended in projectile vomiting, but you'd feel great right after you puked. You'd still be hammered.
That when I was, and it's crazy, the guy that was talking about the Tennessee line, and you was talking about the cost. When I was, like 15, 16 years old and still went to this same guy's bar to buy alcohol, hell, I was paying $20 a fucking case back then because he knew we were underage, so he'd overcharge the shit out of us.
Sure.
But, that was the price of admission. But you could buy a 40 for, like 89 cents. And so you're getting, almost 4 beers for the price, where you would buy, you could go buy a cooler full of 40s, get 10 or 12 of them for $10 or $12. But if you bought a case of beer, it was 20.
Right.
And so it was just economics to buy the bigger 40 ounce.
And when we were young, there was Mad Dog 2020, which was horrible sweet. And we even went, when I was in college and a fraternity geek, we had a party every year called Wino, and everybody would drink Mad Dog 2020. We were all hallucinating too. So throwing up on Mad Dog 2020 when you can't pass out is fucking horrible. So I'll never drink it again because I'm a recovering alcoholic. But we also used to drink malt ducks. Do y'all remember what a malt duck was? It came in a little 8-ounce bottle, and it looked like wine, but it was sweet. And they also had stuff called champagne that came in an 8 or a 10-ounce bottle that was like sparkling, kind of like champagne, Orange Jubilee. I remember that. And we used to drink so much of it and get so, Boone's Farm, I remember that, and get so hungover. And then do it the next night. I literally, the thing that was bad for me was I drank for so many years without any real consequences. Even though I got a DUI when I was 18, I was convinced that wasn't my fault, and still kind of am because I went through a checkpoint. If I'd not gone through the checkpoint, they would have never gotten me because I wasn't doing anything wrong. California coolers were great, but they marketed to kids is my point. The worst for me was mezcal tequila in college.
Hey, Kyle, you got to put you Jolly Ranchers or you Skittles in you Zima. And he's talking about Zima. John will know what I'm talking about. Up at the Tennessee line, there's a bar that's called Last Chance. And it's a biker bar. And I'm talking about it is a rough, dirty biker bar like you would see in Sons of Anarchy or some shit. And I went in there one night to get beer, and all these dudes are sitting around drinking fucking Zima in this fucking hardcore, Hell's Angel type fucking biker bar. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I didn't say nothing because I didn't want my ass fucking stomped, but I just noticed it, and that's what was going through my head is why the fuck are all these guys drinking Zima? And what it was is they had put moonshine in the Zima bottles and were sitting around drinking moonshine instead of drinking Zima.
So it's white lightning that just looked like Zima.
They was just in there because in a Tennessee bar at the time, I know now, if it's just a straight up bar at that time in Giles County, all you could drink was beer in it.
Good morning,
you couldn't drink
EC.
liquor. You couldn't drink liquor in the bars then. I don't know what the laws are now, but 20 years ago, that was the laws. And so you got all these guys sitting around drinking liquor in the bar, and that's how they would do it. Is they would hide it in a Zima bottle.
Damn, dude. G-Ball, you're lucky, buddy. I had to go when I went through my checkpoint when I was 18. I had to do DUI school down at Auburn, and that was really hard for me because it was a Saturday and a Sunday. And if you came in and had any smell or had anything to talk about, no, not at all, buddy. Oreo Dave, I think talking about it for me, if I make it to May 17th, I'll have 8 years sober. And for me, it's therapeutic because I would have been somebody who thought that there was never any way that I would be able to live without it. And if, I was able to walk away from it. Now I had consequences. I lost a family. I was about to lose everything. I never lost a job because of it, but I was never at my best. And it was a lot more than just alcohol, but alcohol was kind of the crux. But yeah, to me, it was just one of those things that, it happens. And I think it had to happen the way that it did, or I would not be who I am. And I don't think there's anything wrong with alcohol. It's not alcohol. It's totally was something wrong with me, the way that I reacted to it, right? Because I went for years and years and years and years without any consequences and really never did hit a hard bottom. But got to a point to where I realized it just wasn't for me. I wasn't a best version of myself. I was always an asshole. I always woke up feeling like shit. And when I say always, it was always. Now, I was never drinking in the morning. I was never drinking. Well, I drink in the afternoons starting at 1 or 2 because we did it for work. But no, it's not something that I'm proud of. And I'm glad to be free of it. And don't fault anyone who enjoys it, whether you drink it hardcore or you drink it just responsibly. Everybody's different. I don't cast judgment. True words there. They say the woman you marry will be responsible for 90% of your happiness or 90% of your misery. So choose wisely. And I'll tell you that is true. And Dark Gravity got a good one. And what makes them a good couple is they grow together. So any of you young people out there who think that when you get married, it makes everything fixed, it just really adds layers of complication. So you've got to go into it realizing that these are two humans that are going to continue to grow. You just don't want to grow apart, right? You want to continue to have things that, grow together. And my ex and I, it was God's way, and I'm thankful every single day because I got a beautiful daughter out of it, and I got out of a situation. And when I got married, I was hammered. I did not propose. I had my best man, who's been in the chat before, try to drive me away. He was like, look, dude, I will take you right back to Jackson. I will pass the church. We will go back. And I was like, no. And again, it happened because it needed to for me to have my daughter, right? Something cosmically led me to where I am.
The only thing I'll say about the whole deal with the functioning of me and my wife is the fact that we accepted each other as we were from the get-go. She's never tried to change me. She's never tried to make me do something that I'm not or be somebody that I'm not. And I've never done that to her.
That is so simple sounding, but it's so powerful because most people, me included, you think you're either saving somebody or you could make them better, when all you're doing is you're taking away from their individuality instead of embracing it. And I forget the guy who said it, but to love is to really be love. You can't just love the part of somebody that you're attracted to. You've got to love their entire being, right? Their wholeness. And it's easier said than done. It's just, it's a lot of it's the right person. And I've learned that being alone and being lonely are two totally different things. Because I was one of those people that was in a relationship where I was very lonely, and it was my fault because I'd let communication kind of die. But
and that's just something that we both observed when we were teenagers. We both observed as young adults when we were really learning how to be an adult, and both of us kind of took it to heart. Both of us talked about it. Is, I was a smoker, I was a cusser, I was a knife collector, I was irresponsible as fuck. And so she takes all the responsibility, all the adult shit that we need done. She does it and takes care of it because she knows I'm completely incompetent with it. It's not that I can't get up and go to work and make money, because I do. It's the fact that, and it's not that I don't want to pay my bills. It's just, I got other shit I'm worried about.
Right. It's the little things that I'm the same way. I mean, and again, that's where a team, a wife, a good relationship, is great, right? And they say that behind every good man or behind every good woman stands a good man or a supportive wife, right?
Yeah.
Because I've had a lot of people come to me and basically say, how do I say this without sounding crass? There's so much that we'll never know until we know. So for me to say, be careful who you choose, I'm also a realist and know that love is blind, because I've fallen into that since I've been divorced, and I know better, right? But for some reason, our minds get blinded by a lot of that. But do go slowly into a long-term relationship and make sure you're compatible, because I think that's important. And make sure, like Dark Gravity said, you have an understanding. And what I found in my life, it won't happen in yours, but some people will mirror what you want to hear and make you think that they are that person. And maybe I was doing the same thing without knowing it, and then turn out that what you see is not what you get, kind of thing. Yeah. And I think a lot of that's luck, and I think a lot of it's gullibility, and a lot of it is we go into it wanting it to be the best, right? And if you work for it, if you get two people that are willing to work for it through good and through bad like you're supposed to, it'll work out. But most people get caught up in their shit, and it's tough. Ain't nothing wrong with that, dude. And I would love if I could have 2 or 3 Crown and Cokes and stop. I'd have no problem with that. I love the way I felt after 2 to 3 good drinks. I would just be mellow, but I just wouldn't stop. I only had one speed, is go forward.
A wild night at my house. A wild night at my house is a night of YouTube videos, and
I'm going to share this again because we don't have a lot of people. Keep going.
Her playing Candy Crush.
That's a good time.
We usually go to bed about 9 o'clock. But we're up at the ass crack of dawn. It's 11:30 where I'm at, and I'll be up before the sun comes up.
I'm the same way. I'll stay up because after I get off here.
Yeah, but you take naps, John. I don't.
I can't help that, though. That's not always a good thing. And I take little 15, 20 hour naps. Did I tell you the funny about I guess it was Tuesday night, and I was waiting for Grateful Panic to call me, and I must have fallen asleep on the couch and never got a call from him. And I woke up and it was like 9 o'clock, and I'm feeling like a parent. I'm like, damn, I haven't heard from Grateful Panic. And it got to be 11, 12, and I started thinking, damn, he's fallen off into some, right? So I'm going to hear the story tomorrow when he gets home. So I wake up like I do at like 5 or 6 o'clock, come in here, porch light's still on, I turn it off. I'm sitting in the living room, just hanging out, waiting. My mind's going everywhere. You know, who did he hook up with? What's going on? About that time, he comes out of the bedroom, fucking all grimped up like he's been asleep. I was like, dude, I've been waiting for you to come in. You know, I was like, dude, I came in at 7 o'clock last night. You were passed out. So I'll take these little naps and not even really realize if it was 5 minutes I was asleep or if it was 2 hours. And that's scary. That's old age. Guys, put Dark Gravity in the, if you haven't yet, in the chat, hashtag Dark Gravity, and we're going to give away this Cube. And I don't have my spreadsheet to know which one it is, but it's a sweet little Cube.
Well, see, me and Lo will be up in the morning at 6 o'clock, 5:30. We'll be headed out the door to the first yard sale.
Good for you, man. Y'all like to do it together. That's where Jeff will be in the morning.
Yeah, we'll start hitting the yard sales a little after sun comes up, and then we'll head to the Goodwill bins at 9 o'clock. Probably stay there for 2 rotations, and then we'll go, and I got to meet that kid over at Dick's Sporting Goods to drop off those pants that he was buying, and then...
Y'all got a Dick's over there?
No, I'm going the one in Hampton Cove.
Oh, gotcha.
We'll go to the bins are in Madison, and then I'll jump over on the interstate and fly over to Hampton Cove at lunch, and because he'll be at work.
I got you.
And so I'm gonna meet him over there and give him those pants. We were going to Huntsville anyway, probably to the thrift stores in North Huntsville.
Right. That's where Brittany goes. She loves the one up on the Parkway, right as you pass Sparkman. If you're going north, it's on the right. I forget what it's called.
Value Village.
I think it is. Really big.
I think it's something like that. I think it's Value Village, but it's something of that nature.
If you're going north and you go over, I think it might not be Sparkman. It might be.
It is.
You go over something, and it's right there on the right in that big shopping center complex. That's where Brittany gets most of her scores.
Yeah,
all right, guys. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to give it about, there's 33 entries. I'm going to give it about 5 minutes, and then we're going to draw. So I'm going to stop sharing for now, but y'all keep putting it in there.
But yeah, that's, since we started doing that, the fact that she enjoys it, because it's something, me and you've talked about it. I don't know if I've talked about it much on here. As a collector, in a hobby, I think for me, it's more about the hunt than it is about the event. Because like when it comes to knives, I've heard it said in 1,000 chats or lives or whatever, and I've seen it in the comments 1,000 times. Before you ever even get the knife, before it shows up, it's like when you hit click to purchase it, you're already looking for the next purchase. You're already on the hunt again, and then you're sitting there at the same time and you're watching it, you're tracking it across the country as it comes to your house. But what I found with the going to thrift stores is because, and it's like I told you, I think yesterday or day before when we were talking, there's a lot of knives I want right now, but they're either really hard to get and are marked up to a ridiculous fucking price, or they're on pre-order and I'm just not willing to have hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars, because there's about 3 or 4 of them that I want floating around out there in limbo. And I still got to feed that addiction somehow. And so what I've done is I've started hunting stuff.
And you know what you're looking for, which is puts you kind of in a command position where it'd be fun for you to do, where I'd have to know what I was looking for.
I think it was ingrained in me as a kid when I was collecting baseball cards, because all the best baseball cards were old baseball cards. And so now I'm looking for old shit just in general. You know, and the side benefit is I can sell it.
Right. And you have, like you say, you get the dopamine rush of the find and the hunt without putting money out of the universe waiting for something to come.
This jacket that I got on, when I walked around the corner and I saw it, and I was like, ooh, I mean, that rush, I mean, it hit just like anything else I've ever done. And I mean, that rush hit because I knew exactly what it was when I saw it. And then when I opened it up and saw that it was 30 years old, it made the rush even bigger.
Hope you feel better, Addict.
Huh?
I was just telling El Cap Addict, I hope his headache feels better.
Oh.
Go ahead, buddy. I didn't mean to interrupt you. You were talking about your dopamine rush when you found your jacket.
Yeah, I mean, I get that dopamine rush on all kind of stuff. Dopamine kick from a Canadian tuxedo. Kyle is just full of all kind of information.
He's one of the funniest dudes in the chat.
Well, I mean,
until I get to meet him.
I just kind of surprised to hear somebody call out a Canadian tuxedo in a knife chat.
He's well read, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he's very well read.
He's not screwing around. All right, guys, I'm going to give it about 15 seconds. We got 33 entries for the Koubé.
But, you know, it's the whole deal with and the biggest bonus with the going to thrift stores and all that is my wife does it with me.
Right. So it's something y'all enjoy together.
Right. Because the knife hobby is my hobby, you know, and it really is nice to have a hobby that we're doing together. And
I think the fact that you say that is just awesome. I mean, I think
it's, you know, it's like that just means a lot to me, is the fact that I still have my knife hobby, but I also have another hobby now that she's a part of.
Dude, that gives me hope for my next future ex-wife. All right, guys, I'm kidding about that, by the way. I'm getting ready to draw. 5, 4, 3, 2. Anybody else? Gary, Last Ranger, how are you, brother? I love your beard trim. I don't think you should cut your beard. All right, let me get my notebook out here, and here we go. Boom. Dissident 01. Congratulations, man. Dissentient. I always get that wrong, and I spell it wrong when I try to communicate with him in chats, and that is the Koubé.
He's a dissentient being.
All right, I'm going to throw my email address in here. Dissentient. I can spell it right.
I'm going to have to get a better chair for this shit. My ass hurts.
Well, dude, we'll send you one. We did that for Shane. We'll hook you up. A community will come together and make your ass comfortable. Here is
what's sad about it is Kyle's not even here. My ass hurts.
Congratulations, Dissient. I hope you see my email address up there. You can send me a DM on Instagram too, but I'll just send you back and ask you. I'll give you the email address again because it's easier for me to track them that way. But congratulations, dude. I don't know if you've won before, but tomorrow is the day for everybody. And again, once I get caught up and y'all all get tracking numbers, I will never fall behind again. And as what I'm getting ready to do, and I haven't done it yet, but Zach at Zach Stuff has put me onto a printer that they have at Amazon. It's about $130. It's just the only reason I want it because it's small, but it's a thermal printer for printing labels. See what Mike Germat said?
Yeah, I see what Mike. I was reading it. Did you see what Dissentient said?
Oh, send it to Dang Ross. Congratulations, Dang Ross. Congratulations, Dissident, for doing something kind for somebody. All right, so we got to think about, let me get my brain in gear. Dang Ross. I am updating this. All right, Dang Ross, I'm going to put the email address in there again in case you missed it. And just remind me, say this is the Dissident giveaway. He gifted it to me. And it will come your way, brother. If you send me the email tonight, I am doing mailing tomorrow afternoon after I get back with Dad. Yeah, that's something I've got to do early tomorrow. I've got to take him to go out to look at a place that I don't think he's going to want to be in, but my brother and I think it would be best for him to move to. So that's what I get to do first thing in the morning at the crack of dawn while you're up checking out garage sales bonding with your better half. I'll be convincing a dementiated dad that it's better for you to be out here, and he'll be going, where are we?
Yeah, but at least you get to pay it forward.
That's true. And I get to spend time with my dad. You know, there'll be a time when I wish I had. But guys, we are getting about 30 minutes for satisfaction. I still got, as you know, run to Taco Bell and get my Mexican pizza so I can burn my stomach out before I get back. Dark Gravity, you got anything to say to these lovely humans who hung with us for over 3 hours?
I thank everybody for just hanging out with us.
Dude, I thank you for hanging out with us. You make it, I mean, I swear to you, it just, we have so much more fun. I do, at least. I don't know if you have fun or if you're sitting outside going, I hate this. I should be inside with Lo. I get it. I mean,
no, it's I enjoy it. It's just a lot of times I just don't know what to talk about because, like I was telling you over the phone, I mean, it's not the knife community that I'm frustrated with right now. It's more the knife industry. With this waiting 3 months, 6 months, a year and a half for a knife, and you got to give them $400, $500, $600 with some of them to start with, you know, and the knives. I mean, it's like I said, where the fuck did it go? This right here shows me that, you know, a knife doesn't have to cost $500 to be a great knife, and that's just. Like I said, and so I just feel like sometimes I don't have much to say, and I feel like I'm just sitting here being a nuisance or a wallflower.
Don't ever feel that way, because somebody always brings something up in the stream that you can uniquely speak to. And dude, I love having you here. And I love the fact that people come out and listen to us chat. And I promise I'll get better at reading the chats and staying up with you guys and not get so far behind. But everybody, I'll see you at said faction. Dark Gravity, I'll see you over there hopefully before you go to bed. Guys, move forward with love in your heart. Choose debate over hate. I love you all. Peace.
Good night, everybody.
Night, Dark Gravity.